Welcome to Padres Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the San Diego County Nissan dealers. With you and San Diego, we are one. By Unical 76, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Your San Diego County McDonald's, proud sponsors of the Padres throughout their 1986 season. Bonds, you always get more without paying more. Shop Bonds, the More Store. And Great American, your Advantage Bank, with 59 offices serving San Diego County.
From Olympic Stadium in Montreal, it's the Padres and the Expos, Game 2 of the 3-game series. And tonight, the left-handed Joe Hesketh on the mound for Montreal. And for San Diego, the tall Texan Andy Hawkins. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Coleman, along with my colleague Dave Campbell. And last night, David, I think it should have been a tie with a crazy ball game. The Padres behind Dave Dravecky, who survived a lot of unsettling plays in the field, came out a winner.
Well, Jerry, the Padres played some games over the weekend that should have been ties, too, and they lost 2 tough ones to the Mets, so I thought it was really a big win. I know you always talk about every game is big, but when you've lost 2 disheartening ball games like the Padres did to the Mets and open up a 9-game road trip with the bats on fire, a good omen, I would think.
Do you have any idea this club is going to have the kind of power it's got? I really did, and I'm surprised. Look at Nettles and Garvey, 8 and 10 home runs between them.
Yeah, and McReynolds in between with 9. Jerry, they're 16 ahead of last year's pace at this time. The one thing they've done, they've hit an awful lot of home runs at home. 35 of their 49 homers have come at home. I still think San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium is the easiest overall park to hit home runs into the National League. I know you think it's Wrigley Field, but there's never a win factor at San Diego. If you hit one good, it's a home run.
Yeah, but that used to be the big ballpark. It's now a tiny park.
Well, you've got to change your lingo there, because it's no longer the big ball. It's a big ballpark, but the fences are short.
Well, tonight, the Padres Game 2 of the 9-game road trip. They won last night, a crazy wild game. They won it 9-6. Home runs helped them, of course. And tonight is Joe Hesketh, the left-hander, who can be tough. He'll be on the mound against the Padres' Andy Hawkins. Stay where you are. We're coming up in just a minute. Olympic Stadium, Montreal, Canada. Padres and the Expos coming your way. Game 2 of the 3-game series and the second game on the 9-game road trip. Padres won it last 9-6. It'll be Joe Hesketh, the left-hander, on the mound for the Expos this evening, going up against the Padres' Andy Hawkins. Dave Campbell standing by with tonight's defense.
Thank you, Jerry. Andres Galarrega, the rookie first baseman. Boy, I'm really impressed with the youngster. He's only 1 for 13 against the Padres, but he runs well, he feels well, and he's hit well against every other team. Second baseman is Vance Law out of Provo, Utah. Guy having a chance for the Triple Crown this year. Hubie Brooks at shortstop, tied for the lead in homers, leads in RBIs, and is 4th in hitting. Tim Wally out of Tustin, California, is at third base. The Rock, Tim Raines, is in left field. 41 games the Expos have played. He's been on base in every one of them. Mitch Webster will play center field. He is out of Great Bend, Kansas. Andre Dawson, a home run in last night's game off Dave Dravecky, will play right. The only change from last night's starting lineup of the 8 is Mike Fitzgerald. He will catch. And the left-hander out of Lackawanna, New York, Joe Hesketh, will pitch for Montreal. The Padre lineup tonight, Jerry Royster leads off. He's at second base. Tony Gwynn will play right field. Kevin McReynolds, a red-hot bat right now, is in center. Steve Garvey, a home run last night, is at first base. Carmelo Martinez is in left field, batting 5th. The shortstop, hitting 6th, Gary Templeton. Terry Kennedy will catch and bat 7th. Mark Wassinger will make his major league debut tonight. Young third baseman just up from Vegas, as Bip Roberts is on the disabled list. And the Padre pitcher, right-hander Andy Hawkins. This program is authorized under television rights granted by the Padres solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Padres is prohibited.
So Joe Hesketh starts to warm up and continues on the mound right now. Trim left-hander, 6'1", 180 pounds. So far, a lifetime record of 2-1 against San Diego. 3-3 with the league, an earned run average of 5.65. That's way above his normal last year. When he ran a record of 10-5, his earned run average was half of that at 2.49. But for whatever reason, David, we have run into a lot of pitchers that have ERAs over 5 and 6 and even 7 who seem to pitch the game of their life when they get the Padres out there.
I know. Last night, Jay Tibbs came in. He had an ERA. He was 6th best in the league. I said, this is the kind of guy we want to go after because he's about 2.2, and the Padres knocked him out in the 2nd inning.
Jerry Royster stepping in. 268 hitter. No homers, 7 RBIs. Slow curve, drops in there for a strike. Not a bad pitch. You know, Royster was sitting on a fastball, so he got the off-speed stuff, and he just took it. Outfield to the right side, left center's open. There's the fastball. Tails in there for strike 2. Plate umpire is Charlie Williams. He's the umpire-in-chief tonight. Harry Wendelstadt, the senior man of this group at first, and at second base, Terry Tate at third base, Cherry Crawford. Crawford was a plate umpire last night. 2-strike delivery. Ball and 2 strikes. Royster did not play in the game last night.
Well, for Jerry, right now, he breathes a little sigh of relief. When a pitcher starts off the ball game and makes 2 outstanding pitches, the first 2 deliveries, a curveball in the outside corner, a tailing fastball, your hitter, you say, wait a minute, is this guy going to give me anything to hit or not?
1 ball, 2 strikes coming up. Curveball chopped to the shortstop. Brooks, high hop, but he'll make the play in time to get Royster. It goes 6-3. That was one of those balls that kept gaining momentum as it got out there, and Brooks had to back up to get it to the left.
Well, Jerry hits this with some topspin, and Brooks plays it the only way he can, and the old last step gets Royster. Yep, just that last step.
Somebody measured this diamond exactly right. 90 feet between bases and 60 feet 6 inches from the mound to the plate. Happened a long time ago. They tell me that the 60 feet 6 inches was a mistake. It should have been 60 feet.
Yeah, the surveyor messed up and added 6 inches to it.
Thank goodness. Tony Gwynn. Low for ball 1. Can you imagine if those pitchers with that good stuff had 6 more inches?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, a lot of those pitchers cheat up in front of the rubber and they get that 6 inches back.
No, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, they do.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Only the old-timers know how to do that. That's called stepping in.
Yeah, I think Gaylord was pretty good at it.
I'll tell you who was good at was Eddie Lopez of the Yankees. Man, you'd watch where he'd start out on the rubber, and when he'd dig off, he was 6 inches ahead of it. Oh, these guys. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Tony. And it's in there. Gwynn last night 1 for 4, batting at .357. I don't think he liked that call. I thought it might have been a little bit up.
Well, just wolf at Charlie a little bit. Gave him a dirty look.
2 balls and a strike coming on. Fastball shot in the hole, base hit. So Gwynn can do that with anybody. The one thing Tony doesn't do is give ground. He'll hit the ball the other way and just lay in there and pop it going away.
Be interested to see how Gwynn's leg reacts to this road trip, Jerry. It's still painful. He fouled a ball down off it. You saw him taking the guard off his leg. It is a painful injury. He doesn't complain much, but you can tell when he's jogging, it really seems to hurt him, but it hasn't affected his speed. He stole 3 bases for the first time in his career last Sunday against the Mets.
All right, Gwynn at first. Here's Kevin McReynolds, 305 batter, 2 for 4 last night, a triple and a single to drive in 3. Ball 1. McReynolds, 9 homers, 27 RBIs, and has hit in 9 of 11 games. And you talk about a turnabout. This is the all-timer right here. He has done a job in the last 3 weeks. It's incredible. Ball 1. Joe Hesketh, 27-year-old left-hander. Curve didn't get in there. 2-0.
Jerry, the reason I mentioned I probably should follow up on Gwynn is the fact that Padres, including last night's game, play the 6 games in a row on the AstroTurf, and this is a tough field. This is the toughest field on the players' legs in the National League if you talk to most of the players.
2 balls, no strikes, 1 down, runner at first. 3-0. Hesketh aware of how hot Kevin McReynolds is. He's not giving him anything at all to hit. He's behind in the count. 3 balls and no strikes. Well, we've said it before. Kevin will go for it if he gets the green light. Let's see what happens here. Garvey's behind him, then Martinez and Templeton. Took it in there. 3 balls, 1 strike. Padres start the day in a dead heat with the Atlanta Braves, a game and a half behind the Houston Astros, and behind the Astros it's San Francisco, a half a game down. And behind the Braves and the Padres, the Dodgers 3 games out. Boy, quite a horse race in the National League West. 5 clubs all scrambling for it. Great race. 3-1 pitch. Padres, as Dave told you, played tomorrow night, and don't forget tomorrow night's game will be on the air right here at KCSD Channel 39 starting at 4 o'clock. Then on to Philadelphia for a weekend series and to New York, and then back home against Atlanta and Houston. First time we've seen them, and we're into June. There goes Gwynn. Tony had a big jump. 3-2 the count. On that homestand coming up starting on June the 5th, the Atlanta Braves were in for 4. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That Thursday is not an afternoon game. That's on the 5th. Then the Houston Astros come in for 3, and a Wednesday afternoon date on the 11th of June will be a day game. Then the Dodgers for 3 and the Giants for 4. Well, you talk about running up against the competition. It's all there on the next homestand. Make your plans right now. 3-2. There goes Gwynn again. Looper to right field. Gwynn's on his way to third. And Kevin McReynolds stops at first. Kevin didn't hit it hard, but when you're hot, you're hot.
Jerry, one of the things that's really paid off for the Padres of late is we watch McReynolds hit this ball. It might not even be a strike, but because he's not trying to pull the ball right now, he gets the hit. But the running game of the Padres has really paid off lately. There's something like 19 out of their last 26 in steals after being atrocious in the first 3 weeks of the season. And the other thing, they've been getting a lot of hits when the runners have been taking off that allows them to go to third base.
Steve Garvey didn't start the game last night, but came on for 1 at-bat. That came in the 9th inning, and he followed the home run by Greg Nettles with 1 of his own to run his total to 10. So the Garb hitting with power. 1 for 1 last night, batting at .232. Threw that ball right by him. Strike 1. Well, let's give Steve Boers a little credit, because at one point you looked at each other and you said, my goodness, he can't keep running those people. They're running into double plays and into outs and all over the place. It just weren't working, but he kept at it, and it's paying off handsomely right now. 1 strike pitch. The umpire didn't give it to him, and Garvey said, I asked for it in time. Charlie Williams refused to give it to him, and I've never seen Steve this upset. Let's see if he gets out in time. Well, Hesketh has started his motion.
Well, I think what happened is when Garvey was taking his backswing, he hit Fitzgerald. I mean, when Garvey was just standing there and he kind of leaned the bat back, he hit Fitzgerald, and it was disconcerting to Steve, so he stepped out and asked for time, and I think that's what he's arguing about. We'll see. Now watch Garvey's bat go back. Didn't get him that time. Let's see if he gets him there. That's when he did right there. It looked like he just tipped him on the top of the left shoulder.
Well, I can tell you one thing. With Charlie Williams behind the plate, this is an argument the Padres will not win. And Steve Boers is saying, why don't you ask somebody? Check Harry Wendell. He ain't going to ask anybody.
Steve's saying, are you absolutely sure you're right? Charlie Williams says yes. Garvey obviously is not going to argue about this if it weren't the case.
Fitzgerald's not going to help him.
Oh, no.
So Steve's going to hit from a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Well, you don't see Steve Boers get out there and argue very long about anything, but Garvey thinks he's right, Boers thinks he's right, and Charlie Williams has the last say. So here we go. No balls, 2 strikes, runners at the corners. Garvey hits one high to left field, way back, going, number 11. Padres lead 3-0. That's 2 in a row for Stephen, and the Padres take a 3-0 lead. How do you like that?
Well, I think Garvey took it out on the umpire. He's got a sheepish grin on his face right now.
Let's watch the swing. Fastball, and Garv goes right down and drills it. Jerry, the Padres have been scoring a ton early lately. One of the problems, though, is their pitchers have not been able to hold the leads. Let's see if tonight maybe it'll work out for them.
Well, if we get Steve mad enough, he might hit 4 home runs tonight. Man, oh man, what a shot that was. There's the Hesketh's trying to reach back for too much and didn't find the plate. So the Padres now have 50 home runs. They're 4 behind the league-leading Montreal Expos. 3-0 San Diego. Pitch to Carmelo. 2-0. Hesketh is not having a good outing right now.
Boy, he started out with those 2 great pitches on Royster, but you got to keep making them.
On the right side, but foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Boy, baseball really runs in some very funny cycles, Jerry. Back when the Padres played those 10 one-run games, they were just scratching and clawing for any kind of a run any time in the game. Now they're coming in bunches, but the pitching hadn't been quite as solid, nor has the defense.
Left center field. That's got distance. Way back, another one. Hitting off the wall, and Hesketh is being taken apart. 4 hits in a row. 2 singles, a homer, and now a double. And the Padres, David, are on a roll.
Well, Hesketh's fastball and Carmelo really hammers. This would have been a home run in San Diego, but it's a little deeper here in Montreal, and the ball doesn't carry quite as well. Hits off the base of the fence.
Larry Bernard, the pitching coach, is having a chat now with Hesketh, and boy, I tell you, he's been tattooed pretty good. That ball was a line drive, David.
Well, the other thing, Jerry, is Montreal, the last 2 games, last night in the game Sunday in San Francisco, their pitching staff, which is a good staff, has given up 20 runs, now 23, and the bullpen is overworked. He went through just about everybody last night except for Jeff Reardon, and you don't bring your stopper into a game like this.
Jay Tibbs, Bert Roberts, Jeff Parrott went 4, Andy McGaffigan a couple, Tim Burke 1, and Tibbs only lasted an inning and 2/3. They might even bring him back tonight the way he pitched last night. If they have to, of course. Tempe hits one hard to right field. Back goes Andre Dawson. He's reached back to the wall. Hitting for third base is Carmelo Martinez. We have 2 down, a runner at third. 3-0 San Diego.
Padres have hit almost 290 as a team since May 2nd. They were hitting 239 on May 2nd, and since then they have just been an absolute tear with the bat, but they haven't really put together a great winning streak yet because, as we said, the pitching and defense haven't been really up to snuff.
Well, the other day, remember Bob Ojeda in his start for the Mets gave up 2 runs. It looked like the Padres might take him apart in the first inning, and that was it. So the Padres have got to keep going. Terry Kennedy stepping in 0 for 5 last night, batting at .239, runner at third, 2 out. Right in there for a strike. One ball, 1 strike. Steve Garvey, since coming to the Padres from Los Angeles, has hit 14 one year, 8 another, and 17 last year in the home run department. He's got 11 already. We're about a quarter of the way through the season. Up the middle, base hit. Padres 4, Montreal nothing. So the route continues. Big run coming in from third with 2 down. Give Kennedy credit, a clutch single.
Well, Terry's been on an RBI tear of late. He got 2 last night on infield outs. This time he finds the base hit lane. Andy Hawkins, remember the game Floyd Yeomans pitched in San Diego when the Expos got 7 runs before there was an out? I think the Padres would like to repay it and see how Hawkins could do with that big a lead.
Here's Mark Wassinger, just up from Las Vegas, where he's hitting at .284. A real scrapper, making his major league debut, and he takes strike 1. Wassinger, been around the minor leagues for a while, and getting a chance to play now that Bip Roberts is on the disabled list. Wassinger at 6 feet, 165. You know what bothers me about Wassinger? Except for the face, that's exactly how I looked. I was skinny.
Pencil thin.
He has no chance.
He's even got an Adam's apple like yours.
Oh, come on. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Same height, same size, same weight. And the ball gets away from the catcher on a swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, you got to bet this young man's a little nervous. He's out of Valrico, Florida. That's his hometown. Born in Monterey. His dad was in the Army. He said, I'm a gypsy.
Joe, I wanted to make one comment on Garvey. Over the weekend against the Mets in that series, Garvey must have left, it seemed like 100 men on base. But a total pro like Garvey just says, hey, I'm going to get him tomorrow. And he comes into last night's game, hits a homer, starts off today with a 3-run shot, 4 RBIs in his last 2 at-bats.
And he got it. So a fastball as Mark Wassinger goes down swinging, and that's all for San Diego. But 4 runs go on the board. And on your Kobe Sports Arena swap meet scorecard, the middle of the first inning, San Diego 4, Expos coming up.
It hurt at the time. You went straight up in your seat.
Yeah. My Adam's apple went out.
Good thing the ceiling was high. You would have banged your head.
Tim Raines stepping in 1 for 5 last night, hitting at .315, 4 homers, 12 RBIs, up there left-handed, a switch hitter. Ball 1. Raines probably, when you talk about the big stars in this game, is right up there in the top 10 somewhere. He can play. 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Padres 4 runs, 5 hits. If you missed that outburst, it was a single by Gwynn, a single by McReynolds after a disputed strike. Garvey hit a home run, and a double by Martinez, and a 2-out single by Kennedy. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hawkins 35 and 32 lifetime. Andy, well, I don't want to use the word phlegmatic, but he's not an emotional kind of guy. Really looks cool and calm at all times.
Well, I think he keeps a lot inside, Jerry. He's pretty determined.
2-1 pitch. And there's a 1-hopper. Tempe can't handle it. That ball ate him alive. I think they're going to give Raines a base hit on that, and they will. That ball really was on Templeton. Tried to grab it with his glove. He deflected it, and that's all.
Well, it was a miscue on defense yesterday by Greg Nettles that really opened the floodgates. And although Templeton, it was a tough play, I'll give Gary that. It's still a play he makes generally.
Here's Mitch Webster batting at .274. 3 homers, 15 RBIs, 2 for 5 last night. And a switch hitter up there left-handed against the right-handed Hawkins. Garvey at first, Royster at second, Templeton at short. At third base, Mark Wassinger. Don't know much about this young man. We just have to watch and see. There goes the runner. Kennedy's throw. Nice play by Royster. Wow. Royster on the backup got the ball. It was headed for center field as Raines steals a base. When you talk about the stolen base department, he can run.
Jerry, out of 470 stolen base attempts, catchers have only thrown Raines out 29 times. Kennedy had absolutely no chance, but a great play by Royster to keep Raines from going to third.
Number 17 for Raines, leaving him 2 behind Vince Coleman and Mariano Duncan. So runner at second base, nobody out. Padres have a 4-run lead, and if ever you want to choke somebody off, it's always at this time. When you score, don't let them come back. And that's going to drop. Well, looks like we're playing the same kind of baseball we played last night when the Padres shot ahead. They had 2 in the first and 3 in the second. Montreal got 1 in the first and 4 in the second for a tie game after 2 innings. And right now, Expos with nobody out have runners at the corners. Here's Andre Dawson.
You never know if it's the cycle we talked about earlier, Jerry, or just the fact that psychologically pitchers, even though their pitching coach and manager tell them to go out there and pretend like it's a nothing game, there's got to be some reason for the Padres getting way ahead and then always seeing the other team come back at them.
Dawson, and another base hit. Unless they, oh, what a play by Tempe. Man, you got to hang a star on that, baby. That saved the day. That looked like it was through. Tempe was behind the third baseman when he made the play, forcing Webster at second. Brilliant play by Templeton.
Well, like Nettles did last night with a bat this time, Templeton atones with a great play. Dawson jammed, and Webster has to hold up because he can't tell if Wassinger's going to get the ball, and that gave Templeton a shot at second, and Royster keeps his foot on just long enough.
It's now a 4-1 ball game as Raines comes in from third. Runner at first base. Andre Dawson. Here's Hubie Brooks stepping in. Boy, Tempe, he might have missed the one, but what a gem that was. That ball was deflected, incidentally, by Wassinger. Ever so much. You're watching Padres baseball on 39 Alive. 4-1 ball game. First inning. Runner at first base, Andre Dawson. Hubie Brooks, who took the collar last night. He struck out 3 times and bounced to short. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brooks, Wallach, Galarraga, all right-hand batters, so that gives Hawkins the advantage to a degree. Dawson, pretty good running speed when he gets his mind to it. Hubie Brooks now a ball and 2 strikes, and the bat goes flying. You know, I'm wondering, we haven't heard a word, but Brooks has looked so bad at the plate. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but he struck out 3 times last night, had a medium grounder to the shortstop. Didn't even look like he was going to get a base hit, and he doesn't look much sharper tonight.
Never know, Jerry. They didn't figure he was going to stay completely hot the whole year, so maybe it's his time to slump, but let's give him a chance.
Yes. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Just outside. 2-2.
Let's see if Andy can make the pitch here. They're liable to start Dawson if it goes 3-2.
Dawson with the lead. Infield tight, double play depth. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll try it again at 2-2. That was a hanging slider, a little bit up, although it was on the outside part of the plate. Expos come into this ball game trailing the New York Mets by 4.5 games. Mets with a record of 27-11. That's the best in the major leagues. There goes the runner. Swung on a miss. Throw to second. Now, they got him. A double play as Dawson is out at second base, and Hubie Brooks strikes out for the 4th time at 5 trips. On your Kobe Sports Arena Swap Meet scorecard, it's the end of the first inning. San Diego leading in the ball game, 4-1. Goes to right field, and there they go as the Padres and Montreal are ready to go. This is the 3rd and final ball game. Montreal, incidentally, will set sail for Houston right after this game, where they play 3 games and come back here again. So the problem continues at running all over the country, and the Expos have been on a high as far as traveling is concerned. And now, David, it's all yours again.
All right, we'll look at the defense of the Montreal Expos. That's Andres Galarraga at first base. Vance Law plays second. Shortstop tonight is Al Newman. Hubie Brooks has a swollen finger. We knew something was wrong the way he was swinging the bat the last 2 nights, and he's got a really bad swollen middle finger. He will not play tonight. So it's Newman at shortstop. Timmy Wallach will play third base. Tim Raines. Well, I'll tell you, I'm running out of adjectives for Raines. Mitch Webster, he had a big night last night. He's in center. And Andre Dawson in right field. Mike Fitzgerald catches. And with 4 straight wins under his belt, right-hander Floyd Yeomans. He started out the year 0-3. He's now 4-3, 5.06. Padre lineup tonight. Flannery, Gwynn, and McReynolds. Garvey, Nettles, and Martinez. Kennedy, Reister, and Lamar Hoyt. Yeomans raised with Dwight Gooden down in Tampa, Florida, although he did move to Fontana, California his senior year. His father moved out there, and Yeomans went with his father. He is 22 years old, came over from the Mets. He and Gooden were with the Mets organization. He came over for Gary Carter, and he came along with Hubie Brooks, Herm Winningham, and Mike Fitzgerald. We're ready to go. Finally, Tim Flannery steps in, and here's Jerry.
Okay, Flannery was up 1 time last night. He came on the 8th inning and singled to left field to get things rolling, but the Padres couldn't get him in. Padres frustrated in both the 8th and the 9th inning. Now Tim Flannery, 2 for 4 in the series. Couple of home runs, 13 RBIs, batting at .277. First one is wide, right in there for a strike. Just on the outside part of the plate, and this one is right down the middle that time. No balls and 2 strikes. Yeoman's one of the youngest pitchers in the major leagues. Just turned 22 in May. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeomans last year with 3 clubs went 14-8, 7-3 at Double-A, 3-2 at Triple-A, and 4-3 with the Expos. Big curveball, but in the dirt. 2-2.
Gary Templeton not playing tonight because of the aggravation of the knees on this hard AstroTurf field, so he gets tonight off and tomorrow night. I mean, tonight and tomorrow because it's an off day, and he'll play again Friday.
Tim stays alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeomans, mentioned 22 years old, 6 feet 190. Very compact athlete. Looks bigger than the 190. Sometimes these numbers we get, when they sign their contracts initially, then they'll put on 10 or 15 pounds later, and it doesn't show. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And you're now looking at Mr. Shortstop, Gary Templeton. Right next to him, Jerry Royster, and next to him is Bip Roberts, who is not eligible. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Flannery trying to get on. Tony Gwynn to follow, then Kevin McGrannell, Steve Garvey, Greg Nettles, Carmelo Martinez, Terry Kennedy, Jerry Royster, and Lamar Hoyt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And ball 4. Now there's the great asset of a Tim Flannery. He doesn't have the speed, but he really fights a pitcher to get on, David, and his on-base percentage is pretty good.
Well, we've said it several times, Jerry, so for the fans who listen, sometimes we get a bit redundant, but we have to keep bringing up certain things, and that is that Tim Flannery led the Padres last year in on-base percentage. This year he's number 2, so you lose a little bit with a lack of speed, but the idea of the leadoff man is to find a way to get on, and Flannery does it well.
All right, here's Tony Gwynn, who I would presume is the leader in on-base. What else?
That is true. He is
Tony Gwynn.
Also 4th in the lead, and your buddy Mike Scioscia is still leading.
Isn't that amazing? Boy, I tell you, he must take a pretty good look at that baseball. Fights his way to get on as Flannery does. Now Tony Gwynn. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gwynn 2 for 8 in the series, batting at .355. That's the league lead.
Flannery also throws his body in front of the ball once in a while to get on base.
Gwynn leads by 7 points over Johnny Ray for the batting title. Has the most hits in the league, 61 to Johnny Ray's 55, who was second. And it's in there. Ball and 2 strikes. Tony Gwynn suffering still a painful leg injury. He's got a long way to get over that thing right now. He's not well yet.
Jerry, I talked to him before the game. I said, how bad is it? He said, very bad. I said, you going to take a day off? He says, are you serious? He said, the only thing that hurts more than my leg is not playing. He says, I'm going to play.
A ball and 2 strikes. Flannery short lead at first. Gwynn chops one to the shortstop. Newman, nice pass, back to first, double play. That was a fine play by Al Newman to get the ball to Vance Law the way he did. That's about as good as you'll ever see it. He's a better shortstop than Brooks. Brooks can't do that.
Well, Hubie Brooks does not play well in close to the bag. Newman really gets his body in position and gives Law a good shovel, and Vance turns it over. Galarraga's got it, and Gwynn, you can still see the foots in the air. Flannery goes in hard after Law, but Vance, with good agility, gets out of the way.
So a double play, 2 out, nobody on. Here's Kevin McGrannell. Strike 1. One thing about Yeomans, his fastball looks to be right over the top and fairly true. In other words, we call them dart throwers. Now, he's got a little better stuff than that, but sometimes if the ball doesn't move much, no matter how fast you throw it, they'll get to you. That's a good spot, though, not a strike.
Yeah, but it's coming up there about 93 mph, miles per hour, and he's the hardest thrower on the Expo staff. Jeff Reardon also gets it around 92 or 93 on a good night.
No balls, 2 strikes. And pop back out of play. Good spot right on the fist. 2 down, nobody on. Top of the first inning. McReynolds batting 9 home runs, 27 RBIs, 3 for 8 in the series, and Kevin at .304. He has come from nowhere to really skyrocket in that batting average. 1-2.
I was talking to batting coach Deacon Jones tonight before the game about Kevin, and he said the one thing that Kevin has really done to improve is his concentration factor is so much better on the strike zone. Now, Kevin, don't go swinging at a bad pitch now to make me look bad. But he said he's been hitting 2-0 and 3-1 a lot because he's been very patient at the plate.
Well, the hard throws will make you swing occasionally at bad pitches. Curveball got him. Ooh.
Kevin.
So it's 3 up and 3 down. Padres are gone on your video library scorecard. The middle of the first inning. San Diego nothing. Here comes Montreal.
Jerry Reister will play second. Jerry Smott. Tim Flannery at shortstop tonight. And Puffy Nettles at third base. Carmelo playing left. Kevin, I got to talk to you after the game. I just bragged on you. You took a bad swing. McReynolds in center. And Tony Gwynn in right. Kevin knows he took a bad swing, too. Terry Kennedy is the Padre catcher. And Lamar Hoyt will do the pitching for the Padres. 1-1, 4.97. The lineup he'll look at. We'll have to do it quickly. It's Raines, Webster, and Dawson. Wallach, Galarraga, and Law. Newman, Fitzgerald, and Yeomans.
And here comes Tim Raines. Last night, stole himself a couple of bases. He is 3 for 9 in the series. Scored 2 runs last night with a couple of base hits. Raines and Webster, when they got on, they ran crazy. 4 stolen bases between him, and Raines, whoops, up and in. Tim Raines scored a run in the first, the 5th. Webster got one in the 4th and the 7th, and the one in the 7th, I think, was the key run that won the ball game. The 1-0 pitch. Going tight and in on Tim Raines, counting 1 ball, 1 strike.
I want to see how many of these top 10 categories I can get in here. He's 3rd in hits, 1st in walks, 3rd in doubles, 2nd in triples, 3rd in stolen bases, 3rd on base, 1st in runs. Tim Raines, not too bad, huh? This is a National League. We're not talking about the Montreal Expos.
I think he'll make the All-Star team. 1-1 pitch. Big curve is high.
Well, if he doesn't, it'll be the biggest injustice in the history. You know, that's the one thing, though. You know, Darryl Strawberry's been automatically voted on by the fans the last couple of years. And, I mean, Strawberry's going to be a great player, but this guy deserves to be there right now.
3 balls and 1 strike.
They don't play the same position, but they just vote for 3 outfielders. It's the 3 top vote getters for the outfielders. So you figure it's going to be Dale Murphy. Chances are pretty good Tony Gwynn's going to get in there. And then there'll be a dogfight between Raines, Strawberry, and Willie McGee.
Well, McGee's having a bad year, though. He's not doing well at all. You know, I don't know whether fans, remember what you did a year ago. Even though he led the league in hitting, he's down in the 260s, and that's not good enough to make the All-Star team. It should be what you're doing for that year.
Yeah, the one thing I was really proud of the fans on last year was voting Tommy Herr over Ryan Sandberg, because Sandberg was the defending MVP in the league, but Herr got the nod because he was having a great year.
And there's a high pop-up down the left field side. Here comes Carmelo over by the railing, and right there to grab it. Nice play by Carmelo for a long run, and Raines is gone. Good man to get out if you're going to start a ball game, is to keep him off the bases.
Well, we've been talking about Raines during the series, Jerry. The Expos have played 42 games, and Raines has been on base 84 times. That is dead double. So he's averaged being on base twice a game, and when you do that, it's not any secret why the Expos are doing so well.
Here's a guy last night who was a thorn in the side of the Padres. He had 3 base hits, 2 stolen bases, and another time he got the second on a balk. He forced a situation. So he was red hot. Mitch Webster hitting at 288. 1 strike count on him, a switch hitter. Changeup low and inside, 1-1.
Yeah, the Dodgers gave up on this guy a few years ago, and with the problems they're having in their outfield, they don't really like Ken Landreau all that much in Los Angeles. This guy probably could have been a pretty good player for him.
In the air to left field again. Carmelo drifting after this. So Lamar right now looks pretty good.
Well, maybe the Padres are going to go back to the formula that was so successful for them early, and that is not score any runs in the early part of the game, have the pitch and keep it close, and then find a way to win late. And that was very successful. You would think that the ideal situation is to score a lot of runs early and bury the other team, but the Padres have been scoring early, and they haven't done too well when they've done it.
Here's Andre Dawson, the veteran on the ball club. Strike 1. Dawson batting at 293, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, 2 base hits and 8 trips in this one. He had one of those as a home run over the right center field wall. Unusual for him. He generally will pull a ball to left center and left field. On the ground to third. Nettles bobbles the ball, can't recover. Well, Greg's in one of those periods where everything that goes to him, he just doesn't put a handle on it, and it's been a tough period. So Dawson safe on the air.
Well, Greg's not going to get one any easier than that. A 1-hopper to him, about knee high. Just that AstroTurf with a little more speed coming to you, and the ball just pops out of the glove. Hits him right dead in the pocket.
Tim Wallach stepping in. Wallach, 8 home runs, 29 RBIs, and batting at .273. Dawson, who used to run a lot, is on at first base, but those bad legs may keep him there a while. Slow curve, and there's strike one.
Jay, it's been the Padres' failure to just grab routine plays in the last couple of weeks. I go back to the beginning of the last road trip going to St. Louis. Just making routine plays, they haven't done it, and a lot of times it's killed them.
1 strike pitch, and down the first base side, but foul. Well, Lamar Hoyt currently with a record of 1-1, ERA of 4.97, and that's not unlike what he was when he started a year ago. And then remember, he hit that 11 straight skid, I mean, skid, not period, rather, a skeen, rather. He just took off and went crazy. Got his ERA down to 3.47 before the year ended. 16-8 overall a year ago, 91-58 lifetime in the big leagues, 1-0 lifetime against Montreal. So Kennedy looking that possibly Dawson might try it. There he goes. Curveball hit high to left field. Carmelo over by the railing, and what's happening here? No, he didn't get it. Carmelo went out of our view, and that was close. Dawson was on the move. Dawson's a guy that has stolen 235 lifetime homers. Well, Carmelo needed a longer arm to get that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So suddenly the error is starting to loom large here as Dawson goes to second, Wallach to first. Wallach at first base with a single on the left side. Just got by Tim Flannery.
Well, Timmy, of course, doesn't have the range of a Templeton, and that's the difference on this play, but you certainly can't fault Timmy for the effort. He went as far as he could, lunged. If he would have taken the full dive, he wouldn't have had a play. So that play without Templeton in there hurts. So Lamar is going to have to overcome an error by Nettles and a play that Templeton probably would have gotten to, and see if he can get Galarraga here.
Andres Galarraga, 1 for 7 in the series, hitting at .284. 5 homers, 15 RBIs. Youngster out of Venezuela. Outside, ball 1. Galarraga, 6'3", 230, big guy. And he can run. Amazing. On the ground, and Nettles grabs this and touches third, and that's it. So that's all for the Montreal Expos in the first inning. On your video library scorecard, it's the end of 1. San Diego nothing, Montreal nothing.
1 week from this Saturday, June 7th, is going to be Pepsi-Cola Sports Bag Night. And you get a chance to look at it right now, and you'll receive one of those sports bags if you come to the Padres-Braves game. All fans will receive one, compliments of the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of San Diego. Pepsi-Cola Sports Bag Night, Saturday, June 7th. Padres and the Atlanta Braves, our first look at the Braves in San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Tonight, the Padres enter the game 1 game behind the Braves, who are in 3rd place in the National League West.
Steve Garvey heading in for San Diego. Second inning, Garvey 11 home runs, 22 RBIs, batting at .238, and in the series 3 for 5. He came on for 1 swing in the 9th inning of the first game and hit home run number 10. Yesterday had a 3-run homer, so he is really on a roll. 2 in 2 games. Fastball's in there for a strike. No score in the ball game. Padres looking for their first hit off Floyd Yeomans. 1 strike delivery. Curveball hit the left field. Boy, I don't know how Garvey picked that up. That had a good break to it, and he just got it on the end of the bat and got it into left field. Single for Steve, leading off the second.
Now, the thing about Garvey is he is such a free swinger. Sometimes he hits pitches that the pitchers just absolutely shake their head. I've seen him hit a fastball about ankle high, 400 feet. And yet sometimes you throw one right down the middle and he doesn't hit it. He's kind of a freak hitter, as I think they would call it in baseball parlance.
Greg Nettles stepping on. Runner at first base, nobody out. Nettles 8 homers, 20 RBIs, 3 for 6 in the series, batting at .221. Greg had himself a home run in the first ball game.
Greg got a great line. He's the master of the one-liners the other night. I'll tell you about it in a second.
1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
On our radio broadcast, Nettles was interviewed after the game as the star of the game. He had 3 hits, including a home run, but he also made 2 errors. He said, well, Bobby, he says, I'm not sure if I was the star of the game, but he said I was definitely the most exciting player out there tonight.
And there's the curve, and a good one. Ball and 2 strikes. Floyd Yeoman's lifetime is 8-6 in the big leagues, 1-2 lifetime against San Diego. He's got a good breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I would think that snake's going to show its head right now.
Rear its ugly head and bite.
You almost get the feeling when they throw the fastball out there after getting a guy to swing and miss at one, they're going to do it again. There it is. And low this time, 3-2. Well, now, if you're a young pitcher, how much confidence do you have in that breaking ball?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Mr. Nettles probably saying to himself right now, Yeomans, if you throw the curve for the strike, I'll tip my cap to you, but I'm sitting dead red on the heater.
You got it. And he lost him. Down to second base goes Garvey. To first base goes Nettles. Padres have something going here in the 2nd inning. A single and a walk as Carmelo Martinez steps in.
Yeomans came in with 31 walks tonight, Jerry, so his control has been a problem for the young right-hander. Those 31 walks have come in 48 innings, and now he has 33 walks in 50 innings.
Second walk tonight as Nettles goes to first, Garvey to second, Carmelo Martinez 3 for 5 in the series, batting at .239. He's got his wife and his little gal with him, little baby. On the right side, that'll be a routine play for Andre Dawson. The runners will freeze, and we have 1 down.
Not doing the little things. The Pods are not advancing the runners. That's the one thing, Jerry, that I mentioned after the game last night, that Montreal played a very professional game. They got behind 4-0. They stayed aggressive. They got a man on. They would move them. They would hit the ball to the right side, find a way to get the run in, and they just kept coming at the Padres, and it finally paid off in a win.
Mike Fitzgerald out there on the mound to chat with his right-hander, who was over there behind third base in case Garvey headed for third and there was a throw over there. Anytime there's a man on base and a ball is hit someplace, the pitcher has a designated place to go. He just doesn't stand on the center of the mound. And Yeomans was flying behind third base, figuring if Garvey went, he'd be there in case the throw got by the third baseman. Garvey stayed, and now Yeomans is going to do his thing against Kennedy. Strike 1. Kennedy 1 for 9 in the series, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs, hitting at .239. One strike pitch, runners moving off first and second. And Terry chases a bad pitch, strike 2.
Well, instead of being even at 1-1, where you can be very aggressive, now you're down 0-2, and you got to start scrambling to put the ball in play. That's what Terry was really disgusted with himself there.
The 2-strike pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Terry's talking to himself. He's not in a real good groove right now, Jerry. He got a hit last night to drive in a run, but he has not been hitting the ball too well the last 4 or 5 games.
Curveball hit hard, center field, way back, going. It's gone. The Padres lead it 3-0. You brought him out of it, David.
Hey, I said Kevin McReynolds was swinging great, and he swung terrible. How about Kennedy?
A curveball.
That's the first time I've seen Terry go over the center field fence anywhere, and that was almost straight away. He just lambasted that ball. So the Padres again grab a lead, a 3-run homer early. Maybe tonight will be the magic night where they can hold it. Terry went, wow. He impressed himself with that one.
That was a breaking ball, and he stayed right with it and rammed it. Let's watch it again. Wow, what a pop.
Boom.
Jerry Royster's in there right now as Kennedy sits on the bench with a 3-0 lead, and he gets a hug from Steve Garvey as well. Royster's got a 1-strike count on him, and now it's strike 2. Boy, that was some pop. 404 feet, and that's about a 15-foot wall out there.
About the same area that Rick Mundy hit the home run that crushed all the Expo fans in the playoffs. I know you were here broadcasting that.
Yes, and it did. Of course, he was a left-hand batter, you know, and he just took it to center field, and what a job. And that was the difference in the entire series. Is Dodgers went on to play the Yankees in the World Series.
And won the world title. So that was the key thing off Steve Rogers, and the Expo fans haven't forgotten it.
Royster now 2 balls 2 strikes. So Yeomans went ahead of Jerry 0-2 and now runs the count even. So the Padres have 2 base hits and 3 runs. Fastball fouled off. 2 balls 2 strikes. It isn't often you hit a curveball that far. Sometimes the fastball will drive itself, but a breaking ball, you got to supply all the power.
Well, it just shows to Terry, I'm sure, that even when you got 2 strikes on you, if you just make solid contact, something great can happen.
And this one hit to right field and foul.
I didn't hit many home runs, but when I hit my longest home runs, it was when I wasn't looking to hit a home run. You just happened to try to put the ball in play, and you hit it on the sweet part of the bat, and it goes. When you crank up and try to hit them, you don't hit them very often.
I got a saliva test every time I hit one.
I think they gave me one, too.
On the ground, right side. Law makes the play. You know, I don't think I ever hit a home run on a curveball in my life. When I think about it.
I did, but I guessed them all.
Oh, that doesn't count. I mean, it's got to be accidental or it doesn't count. 2 down. Lamar Hoyt comes in with a .250 batting average. So Lamar's been spotted with a 3-0 lead on the home run by Kennedy over the center field wall. We're in the 2nd inning. Strike 1. You see all the fussing they were doing in New York last night?
Mm-hmm.
Boys will be boys.
Dog days of summer are coming early.
Yeah, I could say that again. My goodness. Just because a guy hits a grand slam home run, you hit the next hitter, and there's a riot on the field between Ray Knight and Tom Niedenfuhr. Strike 3, and that's it. So the Padres pick up 3, and on your video library scorecard, in the middle of the 2nd inning, San Diego leading Montreal 3-0.
Elliott of San Diego spins to win on Wheel of Fortune right here on your Hollywood connection, 39 a lot. I think I'm going to go out and take some smart pills so I can come back, because I've made 2 analysis tonight, and both of them have been dead wrong. So I'll be back to see you about the 4th inning, okay?
I figure anytime you're one of the people that does analysis, you're going to be right half the time.
Yeah, but I'm 0 for 2 tonight, so see you later.
Here's Vance Law coming on. 2 for 8 in the series, 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, and batting at .243. Pretty good glove man. And the bat, so-so. Strike 1. Padres on top, 3-0. A single by Garvey, a walk to Nettles, and after Martinez flied out, Kennedy homered over the center field fence. Law rips one to left field. Base hit. So a lead single for Vance Law puts a runner at first and nobody out. 2nd hit off Hoyt. Here's Al Newman coming on, getting a start tonight. 3rd time he started at shortstop. Hubie Brooks, of course, is the man on this ball club, but he's got a sore index finger or a middle finger in his left hand, and he's out of action maybe for a while. He was not swinging well in the series at all. Struck out 3 times in the first game. Switch hitter Al Newman stepping in. Well, looks like one of those guys who lays the ball out there, tries to move it around, punch and Judy type hitter. Al Newman, not a big guy, 5'7", 170 at best. 2 balls and no strikes. Newman last year in Indianapolis hit .282 with Montreal in 25 games, 172. Newman this year hitting at .277. Law at first base with a lead. Padres on top 3-0 if you just tuned in on a 3-run homer by Terry Kennedy in the 2nd inning. And the Padres now are going to try to check the Expos here in the bottom of the 2nd. Infield double play depth. And now Lamar with a runner at first goes 3-0 to Al Newman. And Lamar, as you know, last year had the best record in baseball when it came to walking the fewest hitters per innings pitched. Last time out he walked 3 or 4. And it's ball 4. Wow. So the Expos put 2 men on with nobody out here in the 2nd. That'll bring up the catcher, Mike Fitzgerald. First walk given up by Lamar. Curve got the corner. Good spot as Fitzgerald watches it sail by. Mike Fitzgerald is 0 for 5 in this series. 4 homers, 13 RBIs. Comes in batting at .209. He's not a solid hitter, but the 4 home runs, he had one in San Diego. You got to watch him. Best he's ever done during the season is 5, and he's almost there already. Flannery, Royster for 1, and they get the double play. Nice play. Flannery, Royster back to Garvey. Over to third base goes Vance Law. So the pitcher's best friend comes into focus here. Fitzgerald, not a very fast man. A 2-hopper to Flannery. Royster with a strong arm makes a good pivot. And out at first base by 2 strides. Mike Fitzgerald. That'll bring on the pitcher. Floyd Yeoman stepping in. Yeoman's batting at .063. As a hitter, Yeomans has 1 hit and 16 trips. He gets struck out 8 times, so half the times he strikes out. Ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. Big curve, chopped to third, but foul. 1-1. Padres come into this game with a record of 23-21, 2 over 500. They've kind of been stuck there. They haven't been able to get out of that rut. Houston beat the Cardinals today in 11 innings. So they now have a mark of 26-18. They've been tough, getting great pitching. 2 balls, 1 strike to Yeomans. Padres also getting good pitching, so they have nothing to complain about in that regard. They've been right up there. In there, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Padres in the hitting department are second, and in the pitching department about middle of the pack. 2-2 delivery. Slow curve is high, 3-2. Ooh, here's one guy you don't want to walk. Payoff pitch. I think Lamar thought he had that one. He wanted to know what Harry Wendelstedt was thinking about, and that really upset him. He thought he had it. Let's watch him. It was over the plate. And Lamar is mumbling and walking around. He doesn't do that unless he thinks he's been had. So Wendelstedt said no, it wasn't high enough. Down to first base goes Yeoman, and that'll bring up the lead man, Tim Raines. Second walk given up by Lamar, and of all people, he walks the pitcher. Tim Raines in his first at-bat fouled out down the left field line to Carmelo Martinez. Raines takes a curveball inside. Ball 1. Runners at first and third. Padres lead by 3 on the 3-run homer by Terry Kennedy in the second. Big curve and a good one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 gone. And the 1-1 pitch. Slow curve, but not good. 2-1. Second inning, Padres on top by 3. Timmy Raines trying to get on, or at least get a run in. He's got Vance Law at third. Floyd Yeomans at first. And the 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Good fastball. Raines, one of those incredible athletes. He does it all. In the stolen base department, his record has been phenomenal. He has never had less than 70 stolen bases since he came to the big leagues. Led the league 4 years in a row in 81, 2, 3, and 4. Last year, though, Vince Coleman took it away with 110. Tim had 70. Sounds like small potatoes alongside of 110. Strike 3 called. So Lamar Hoyt nails Timmy Reeves, who doesn't like that call. And he's gone. The Padres get out of it here. And on your video library scorecard at the end of 2, San Diego 3, Montreal nothing. Gold, something new will be on tap of the ballpark on Sunday, June the 8th, and both are baseball at its most. Yes, sir. The 86 Padres play the Braves starting at 1 o'clock, but prior to the ball game, there'll be a special exhibition game starting at 11:30 as we look at Flannery taking high for ball 1 with some of the best players of the past. It's the Equitable Old Timers Day as some of the Padres have passed. Play many of baseball's greatest heroes. Make your plans now for Equitable Old Timers game on Sunday, June the 8th. Great play by Al Newman. Man, what a sparkler that was. You saw it, I know. Ooh. Flannery robbed on a brilliant play by Newman. Look at this. About as good as you can do and as far as you can go. Al Newman robs Flannery of a bullet headed for left field. Brilliant play by the youngster. Can't do any better than that. That's as far as you can go and as long as you can stretch. Here's Tony Gwynn, who hit into a double play. Ground ball up the middle, and another one. This one goes off Newman's glove. And it looks as though Gwynn's going to get himself a base hit. That was a tough play for Newman. So Tony Gwynn singles sharply off the glove of the shortstop. Let's watch it again. This is the center field. That was a tough play. Ball was well hit and took a half hop. Runner at first base, 1 down. And Kevin McReynolds will now be coming on. We'll throw some scores away while we have time. Chicago, the Cubs beat the Reds 5-0. Sutcliffe over Gullickson. Home run by Jody Davis, number 9 for Chicago. Houston, in 11 innings, got a triple from Craig Reynolds to beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3. This one fouled on the right side and out of play for a strike. And in that St. Louis-Houston ball game, Vince Coleman, we talked about him a moment ago, stole 3 bases. He leads the league with 22. Atlanta failed to score in the first inning playing Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. LA at New York scoreless after 1. Royce against Gooden. Giants failed to score in the first inning playing the Phillies. Phillies batting in the bottom of the first. In the American League, Baltimore knocked the Oakland A's off 9-5. Kingman homered in that one. Sheets, Lacey, and Dwyer also homered for the winning Baltimore Orioles. Other games just getting underway. Boston at Cleveland, Chicago at Texas, Milwaukee at Kansas City, Toronto at Minnesota on the West Coast, Detroit at California, New York at Seattle. And right here, Padres on top 3-0. Top of the 3rd inning. Gwynn at first base. 1 down. McReynolds trying to get him going. One ball, 1 strike.
I came back from retirement.
I'm glad to see you. Where have you been?
I was talking to my daughter. Shelby, okay, hi, sweetie. Okay, you can turn off the TV now and do your homework.
Huh?
I just said I'd say hi to her on TV.
All right, well, good. Oops, very close. Gwynn almost picked off that time. And Tony, his leg is hurting. He is playing in pain.
Well, he got caught leaning. Yeah, again, Jerry, this thing Tony told me, he said it just hurts like crazy just to pivot and to jog. But when he runs hard, he says it doesn't feel too bad.
Gwynn with a lead. Kevin takes inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Three 3-0 San Diego, 3rd inning. In their first strike. I don't think Kevin liked that one. In fact, a lot of the, well, both pitchers and players are having trouble with the umpiring calls tonight by Harry Wendelstedt. He's usually a pretty solid umpire, but I don't think some of the guys like it. Kevin didn't like that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. They play Kevin into right center because Yeomans has the good fastball and the pitch. There goes Tony Gwynn. He's safe. Boy, what a jump he had, and he beat the throw, a good throw by Fitzgerald.
Well, you can see the pain on his face, but the great thing about Gwynn here is the slide. Watch how quick he gets in there on the slide. straight in. Last night, Andre Dawson went to a hook slide, and the Padres were able to get the tag down. Gwynn went with a straight in slide, which is the absolute quickest way to get into a base.
The old pop-up, no question about it. You're going to go. If it's at first base, or maybe you want to hook around the guy, that's okay. But when you want to steal a base, go right in there. Kevin takes high, and it's ball 4. Down to first base he goes. Padres have runners at first and second, 1 away. And that'll bring up the Garv. Third walk given up by Yeoman.
Well, Jerry, last night the Padres got those 4 runs in the first inning. The 3-run homer by Garvey and the RBI single from Terry Kennedy, and then they just flat went dead in the water. You say, well, Joe Hesketh's got to get a lot of credit, true, but boy, the hitters have to keep pounding. When you get a lead, you have to bury people, and the good teams do that.
Well, there's another man with the sunflower seeds. He must have got that from Dick Williams, who did a lot of it. You can see them all over the floor. Buck Rogers. Garvey takes low. Ball 1. Some people chew tobacco. Some people chew gum. Some people have sunflower seeds. What else do we have? Snuff?
Yeah, snuff.
Bubble gum?
Yep.
That's the same as gum, but it's kind of messy. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Garvey had one he liked, but fouled it off. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some guys wrap their tobacco in bubble gum.
Yeah, I've seen that. The biggest chaw holder I ever saw was Nellie Fox. It looked like he had a third cheek. Looked like he had the mumps on one side.
Rocky Bridges did a pretty good job,
That's
too.
another one.
Harvey Keene.
Yep. A couple more. There they go. Garvey misses. Throw to second. Good play by the catcher, and Kevin beats it anyway. Kevin almost got caught short. A double steal as Gwynn goes to third, and Fitzgerald did the right thing because Gwynn had such a big jump.
Well, Garvey misses on the hit and run, but the throw to second, and McReynolds slowed down just a little bit at the last second, but he goes in with that straight in slide, and before Law can get the tag, Jerry Crawford says safe and a good call. You can see Kevin's foot beat the tag. Padres are running the bases great the last 2 weeks.
3 stolen bases in the inning alone. Gwynn with 2, and McReynolds has 1. And Garvey checks his swing and takes inside. And here's a case, even with runners at second and third, the manager, Buck Rogers, said, I can't afford to give up any more runs. I'm going to gamble and bring my infield in. Boy, what a spot for Garvey. Infield in, outfield back. 2-2 pitch. Steve hits one center field. Here's 1 run coming in. Kevin's coming around. Padres on top 5-0. So Garvey continues his hot hitting.
Not only that, but the Padres are running the bases with aggressiveness, Jerry, and it's really starting to pay off in the offensive load. Big hit by Garvey here. The Padres go from a 3-0 lead up to 5. Plus, Hoyt got that big strikeout of Raines last inning. The Padres have things in good control right now, but keep pounding.
And here comes Buck Rogers out there to have a chat with this right-hander who is in deep trouble. Bert Robert is the right-hander throwing in the bullpen in a hurry. He gets into just about every ball game, and generally it's in the early going when things aren't doing so well, and that's all for Yeoman. And here comes Robert. Well, while Bert comes on to warm up on the mound, Padres are on top 5-0. We're going to take this commercial timeout.
Hop, and now he tries to shovel the ball with his glove. You see that, but that's not going to work. And Garvey sizes it up and decides, I'm going to head for third. So alert base running by Steve. So the Padres in a position to really bury the Expos right now.
Coming on now is Carmelo, who flied to right in the second. 1 down, runners at the corners, and it's outside for a ball. You know, that was not a double error because they did it in French and in English, and I thought it was 2 errors.
Well, they should have.
But it should have been 2 errors. It really should have.
Yeah, the bobble to let Nettles get to first, and then the errant toss to let Garvey go to third.
There goes Nettles. A chopper. And nobody's going to get this. Man, uh-oh. Carmelo is safe at first, and Nettles gets hung up between second and third. So Nettles is out. Carmelo drives in a run on a high chopper. They probably give him a base hit. Now let's watch it again.
Wallach actually screens off Newman, but Newman makes a good play here. He fakes the throw to first and all of a sudden turns around, and you see Nettles. See, Greg knew third base was unguarded, so he was going to get a little aggressive there. But that time Newman outfoxed him. They tag out Nettles, but the Padres have a 6-0 lead. Martinez gets a single and an RBI.
Terry Kennedy in his first at-bat hit one straight over the center field wall for 3 runs to get the Padres rolling. They now lead 6-0 in the 3rd. And a half-swing foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I probably shouldn't complain because the Padres have just been tearing the cover off the ball for about 3 weeks. But when Roberge comes in there, he throws fork balls at least 5 out of every 6 pitches, and the Padres always seem to be surprised when they see it.
Well, he's the kind of a guy, if you're going to do anything, step up 6 inches. There's the one. Get up before it breaks. 1-2. Did you ever do that? Move up in the plate?
Yep. Against left-handed sinker ballers. They're the only guys I could hit. Maybe I should have moved up on everybody.
Well, anybody that throws a sinker or the screwball, anything like that that goes down, get up on them. Most times they don't throw the ball hard enough to throw it by anyway. Ball and 2 strikes.
That time, Roberge tried to sneak the fastball past Terry, and he just flicked the wrist out to keep it alive. Conan didn't shave today. It looks like he was a little angry before the game.
How come if we knew all these things to do, we hit so bad?
You didn't hit bad. I did.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't tear the cover off the ball. I knew all these things, but I couldn't hit anyway.
Hey.
You know? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 gone. In Montreal, this young lady who is a Montreal Expos fan is not feeling so good as the Padres lead 6-0, and here are some scores. This afternoon, Chicago beat Cincinnati 5-0. Houston down St. Louis 4-3 in the 11th. Pittsburgh leads Atlanta 1-0 after 1. Harper has now homered, his 2nd of the year, number 5 for the Atlanta Braves, so it's at least a 1-1 tie. L.A. at New York scoreless after 2. Philadelphia got 4 in the 1st inning. They lead the Giants 4-0. Garrelts got knocked out in a hurry. In the American League, Baltimore beat Oakland 9-5. Boston after 1.5, and the Indians are scoreless. Red Sox, red hot ball club. No other scores going as yet as Mitch Webster steps in against Lamar Hoyt, who's on top 6-0.
I never answered his question or statement you made before the game about how about those Boston pitchers with Roger Clemens and Bruce Hurst and Oil Can Boyd.
There's a foul on the right side. Well, how about Hurst? He leads the league in strikeouts. I thought Clemens was going to strike out the world, and Hurst is on top.
I'll tell you, Hurst, if you're a left-handed batter, you're overmatched against this guy. He's a side-wheeler, and he's got a great breaking ball, a little bit like Candelaria, I've been told. I haven't seen him pitch. But John McNamara, I'll tell you, he's a good buddy of ours, and he always says, we'll be as good as the pitching. And the pitching for the Red Sox has been great, and that's why they're in 1st place.
And on top of that, they've got 2 guys, Roger Clemens and the Hurst fellow that nobody ever heard of before, that are leading the league in strikeouts. From nowhere, here they came. Here's a 1-2 pitch. In the dirt, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. In the air, left side, Flannery down the line, digging for it, and oh, they get mixed up. Well, Timmy should have kept going, and when he stopped, Carmelo had no chance, and there's a looping double for Mitch Webster, and again, the defense is hurting the Padres.
Now, the Padres better keep swinging the bats because they are not playing good on the other side. This ball has got to be caught by somebody. It was up there for a day, and Webster is not the kind of guy that's going to hit the ball very deep to the opposite field.
Runner at 2nd base, nobody out. Batter stepping in now is Andre Dawson, safe on an error in the 1st. Andre chops it at the plate. No balls, 1 strike. Padres leading 6-0. This is the time to, you know, put the nails in the coffin and hammer the lid down. When you get this far ahead of a ball club, they tend to want to give up. They don't want to play much anymore. But now's the time to go after them. Here's a 1-strike pitch. Fair ball, long toss by Nettles. Did he get it? Not in time. I don't know, Garvey a little bit upset about that. They thought that he had it, but Terry Tate said the ball was not there in time. Holding at second base is Webster. You be the judge. We'll watch it again. Well, that's one for our side, and the umpire missed it.
Yeah, I thought with the naked eye, I thought he was out. And the replay confirmed it. That Tatum said safe.
So now the Expos with runners at first and second. The batter stepping in is Tim Wallach, who singled to left field in the first. 1 for 1. Wallach so far 2 for 8 in the series. Takes a curveball for a strike.
But I'm sure Lamar can keep his composure. He's a professional pitcher, but I'm sure he's getting discouraged too. I mean, he makes 2 great pitches, gets a bloop pop-up that isn't caught, gets a sinking ground ball to third base, and the umpire blows the call for him at first base. Let's see if he can get out of this one.
1 strike pitch, chopped foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Lamar's had pretty good stuff, but he's had 5 hitters up in each inning. 5 in the first, 5 in the second, and a double play ball helped him out of that second inning. 6-0 San Diego. 3rd inning. And that's what is known as the old waste pitch.
Well, the Expos, after coming back from a 4-0 deficit last night, now that they've got a little hope with a couple of guys on, you don't want to give these guys hope. Just like you said, Jerry, get them and bury them and make them not even want to play.
And he got him on the fist. Good pitch. They may call the infield fly rule. They don't call it. Yeah, they now do, as the third base umpire, Charlie Williams, waves the right hand at the last minute. So we have 1 gone. That'll bring up Andres Galarraga.
Well, again, on the infield fly rule, the umpires have to have the feeling that the player has it securely within his grasp. It doesn't have to be just an infield fly. If an infielder is going to catch it, even though he backpedals into the outfield area, if he's settled under it enough in the umpire's judgment, then he calls the infield fly rule. And again, it's to protect the offensive team from some guy letting a ball drop intentionally to get a double play.
Andres Galarraga bounced to third in the first inning. Lamar Hoyt battling to get out of another spot here. He's got runners at first and second. Bloop double and a play at first base that went the way of the Expos. Curve is good.
Lama says, you're going to beat me tonight. I don't care what it takes.
He's got a hard look about him tonight. Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Padres heading on to Philadelphia tonight. They'll take tomorrow off in the city of brotherly love. And then they go against the Phillies Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons. No balls, 2 strikes. The game on Friday night will be televised right here at Channel 39, starting at 4:30. The Saturday game will be the NBC game of the week right here on 39, starting at around 10 o'clock. 2 strike pitch. Curve gone. Beautiful pitch to Galarraga, and that's all. Strikeout number 2. Big one.
Well, I'm thinking of an expression the players have, but obviously I can't say it. It's something to do with locking. And Galarraga got locked.
And then on Sunday, the Phillies and the Padres battle again. We'll be back on Channel 39 at 10:30. And then into New York, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. There'll be all-night games starting at 4:30. All of them right here on Channel 39. So join us. Here's Vance Law, 1 hopper, Flannery. Play to second, and tell you one thing, Lamar Hoyt battled for that one. He got out of it without giving up a score. So that's all from Montreal on your video library scorecard. The end of the 3rd. It's San Diego 6, Montreal nothing. You're only a telephone call away from seeing the Padres in action when you call Teleseat at 283-SEAT. Get the best seats available. Your selection is the same as if you went to the stadium ticket office. So grab your Visa or MasterCard and give Teleseat a call at 283-SEAT. Padres with a big 6-0 lead. We go to the 4th inning. Jerry Royster will do the hitting, and coming on to call it for you is Dave Campbell. David.
Thank you, Jerry. Racer bounced out his first time up. Roberge in relief. 1 strike. The fork ball drops over. Mike Swanson PR department just came by. Remember how bad the Padres running record was early in the season? One time they had something like 3 steals and 12 caught stealings. Reister bounces it to short to Newman. He's got it. There's 1 out. Padres, dating back to May 14th, have stolen 16 in a row without being caught. Cycles. Baseball be very, very, very strange game. 1 out in the 4th. Here's Lamar. Boy, has he battled his backside off tonight. Every inning he's been in trouble, and he hasn't allowed a run yet. 1 strike. Chopper to Roberge, and 2 quick outs here in the 4th. Tim Flannery will give Lamar a little time to come back in and get a drink of water. Hoyt's been working hard out there. Timmy has walked and then lined out on a great play by Newman. That started the 3rd inning. The Padres still put 3 on the board. A 3-run homer by Kennedy in the 2nd. And then a 2 RBI single by Garvey and an RBI infield hit by Martinez. And the Padres on top 6-zip. 1 ball, no strikes to Timmy. Flannery 2 for 4 in the series. Had a pinch hit last night. The Padre pinch hitters are doing a great job. They're hitting .324 coming off the bench. And credit has to be given to Steve Boras to make sure those extra men start games, keeps them sharp, and it's been paying off. Timmy rips one up the middle, of base hit. So Flannery into the hit column. Webster down on 1 knee to block it off. And the Padres continue to play smash ball. On May 2nd, the Padres were hitting .239 as a team. They have gotten that up now to .259. They trail the Mets. They're 2nd place in batting average, and they lead in total base hits. That was a Murphy's Law shot, folks. I had 4 pieces of paper, and the last one I turned over gave me the information I needed. Tony takes a forkball low. Gwynn has bounced into a double play and single. Also has stolen 2 bases tonight to run his total to 10. That leads the Padres. Inside corner, says Harry Wendelstadt. 1-1. 6-0 San Diego. Roberge, 31 years old. Gwynn pokes one foul. I don't think Wallach's going to get this one, and it's out of play. Nice crowd on hand, the best one we've had in the series. The first 2 nights produced 11,000 fans each night, but we've got more than that tonight. I don't know if it's the Expos or the fact that they're honoring the Montreal Canadiens between the innings. The Stanley Cup champions. Look out, Tony. 2-2. And again, if you missed it last night, certainly passing along heartiest congratulations to the San Diego Sockers. 5 in a row. Boy, that's amazing. Look out, Tony. Boy, that one got him on the bad leg, too. Oh. I don't think it hit him where the other bruise is. So Gwynn hit by a pitch. The guard is protecting the front part of the leg, and this one hit right in the calf. Boy, it's a good thing the Padres got an off day tomorrow. Tony's going to have the ice bags on for about 24 hours. McReynolds is struck out and walked. And I think Mr. Fitzgerald got crossed up. Man on second base. Fitzgerald's got to explain to Roberge, hey, we got a different set of signs now. And Vance Law wants to make sure they're in the court. The infielders want to know the signs because they anticipate where a hitter's going to hit the ball on a given pitch because of the count, the situation, what the pitch is going to be. So the infielders really like to know what's coming, so they want to know the signals too. One and one to McReynolds. Kevin with 27 RBIs. That leads the Padres. Kennedy with 3 tonight has 25, and Garvey with 2 has 24. They're the three leaders. Liner to left. Here comes Raines, and a ball took a crazy fly past Raines, and 2 runs are going to score. I have never seen a baseball do that in my life. As McReynolds gets a double, that ball, he hit it inside out, and it completely went away from Raines. It was a knuckleball. I have never seen a baseball do that in my life, fluctuate that much in the air. This ball is coming right to Raines, and all of a sudden it goes dead left on him. Kevin hit a knuckler out there, and the wind currents went crazy. 8-0 San Diego. McReynolds with 2 more RBIs. Garvey takes a strike. So the frustration of last night's loss, the Padres are making up for it in a big way. This one is popped to shallow right. Dawson says he'll take care of it. And he does on Jacoby's Sports Arena Swap Meet scorecard. Middle of 4. 8-0 San Diego. Tonight at 11 o'clock, Jack Gates concludes a special report on one of San Diego's national landmarks, the Hotel Del Coronado. Don't miss his special report tonight at 11 on News Center. Well, the tower we keep showing you every day, that was built before the Olympics in 1976 with the idea that eventually it would go up and then they'd put a cover over this stadium that would attach to the tower. It's eventually going to come to fruition, and maybe by next year. Foul ball left side. This one is out of play. Al Newman leading off. Lamar Hoyt and the Padres in command 8-0. There is no wind here tonight. The ball McReynolds hit, he kind of hit basically with his front arm. So the ball wasn't going to hook, but it was a knuckleball. It just got in an air current out there and just rose and flew right past Raines. Newman fouls another one off. 0-2. Newman fouls it off. Padres on a 9-game road trip, and you will see every one of them on Channel 39. Saturday's game is going to be a morning game in San Diego. That'll be part of the NBC package. The other 8, Jerry and I will be bringing you. Pitches outside to Newman, 1-2. And we believe Dwight Gooden is pitching Monday night, and he'll draw Lamar Hoyt. That might be an excellent matchup. Tapper foul outside of third. They had quite a matchup last year. That was when Hoyt was really scrambling around. He was 2-4. We've told the story so often. He had the bases loaded, nobody out, and 3-0 on Gary Carter in the first inning. Got a home to first double play. Got a fly ball to Foster. That was it. Padres got a home run from McReynolds. Lamar drove in a run with a single, and he beat Gooden 2-0. And then he ran off 10 more wins in a row. 2-2 to Newman. Hubie Brooks not playing tonight because of a swollen middle finger on his left hand. And it's 3-2. Lamar has left 2 in every inning, so he's really had to work. Curve and what? Boy, ruled high, and Hoyt thought he had a strike. So Lamar, who has walked 3, that's very uncharacteristic for him. He walked 3 in his last start. Last year, he walked 20 men in over 200 innings. A couple of those were intentional. Here's Mike Fitzgerald. Expos do have some activity in their bullpen. One strike to Fitzgerald. Lamar having better control with the breaking pitches tonight than his fastball. Right-hander Andy McGaffigan is up for the second time. He's normally a starter, but he's being pressed into service as a reliever with his Expo staff beleaguered right now. 8-0 San Diego in the bottom of the 4th. Slow curve, 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Lamar thought he had a strike there. The pitching matchups for the Philadelphia series on Friday night: Eric Shaw and Kevin Gross. Dave Dravecky against Charles Hudson Saturday day, and Sunday afternoon Andy Hawkins and Steve Carlton. There's a strike, a changeup. 2-2. Padres have 8 runs on 7 hits. They've committed an error. The Expos no runs, 4 hits. They've had an error. Mike Fitzgerald. He is 0 for 6 in the series. Runner goes. Ball hit the nettles. Greg is going to have to go across the diamond to Garvey, and he's got him. So Newman, figuring Hoyt wasn't going to pay attention even with an 8-run lead, and it probably kept him out of a double play. We will have a pinch hitter, and it'll be Dan Schatzeder. Schatzeder, a pitcher, but he's 3 for 4 pinch hitting this year. So Buck Rogers goes to Dan Schatzeder. 1 down, Newman at second base. We're in the 4th inning. Well, it's really a luxury to have a great hitting pitcher on your staff with this 24-man roster, because it gives you, in essence, a 25er you can swing with Schatzeder as a hitter or a pitcher. Dan out of the University of Denver. And the pitch is a strike. Obviously a pitcher in college, but he also played center field when he didn't pitch. Good curveball, and it's 0-2. Well, the Llama dropped the yellow hammer right there. And a foul tip. Gary Carter is homered in New York, a solo shot in the bottom of the 4th, so the Mets lead the Dodgers by a score of 1-0 in the 4th. Phillies got 4 in the 1st. They lead the Giants 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Guralt started. Berenguer in the 1st inning. Schatzeder went. Strike 3. Other National League games, it's Atlanta and Pittsburgh, 2-2 in the 3rd. Terry Harper's hit a home run for Atlanta. That's 2 in 2 games. He had a grand slam last night to win a game. Houston beat St. Louis 4-3 in 11 innings. Kerfeld 5-1 beat Worrell 3-3. And Rick Sutcliffe shut out Cincinnati and Bill Gullickson today 5-0. Jody Davis had a homer for the Cubs. That brings you up to date on the National League scoreboard. Here's Timmy Raines. Flied out and struck out. In the American League, Baltimore beat Oakland today 9-5. Oakland pitchers walked 13 in that game. Sheets, Lacey, and Dwyer home runs for Baltimore. Kingman for the A's. Raines waves at the curve. 0-1. Boston and Cleveland, no score in the 4th. Oil Can Boyd against Dan Schultz. We've got Don Schultz. Chicago at Texas. Joe Colley against Ed Correa. That game has not gotten underway, or has Milwaukee at Kansas City. Tim Leary against Brett Saberhagen. Saberhagen is 2-5, the defending Cy Young Award winner. Raines almost got hit. Hoyt's got Timmy a little off balance at the plate, and that's the first time in the series. He really hasn't looked like he's zeroed in on every pitcher. Toronto at Minnesota. That'll be Clancy against Blyleven. The Tigers are out in Anaheim against the Angels. Dan Petrie against Jim Slayton. And the Yankees are in Seattle. Bob Tewksbury against Milt Wilcox. It's 8-0 San Diego here in the 4th inning. Newman at second and 2 outs, and the pitch to Raines is the curve. It stays inside, 2-1. Hoyt lifetime, 91 wins, 58 losses. This man is a professional pitcher. Skied, should be playable. Carmelo's got a long run, but he gets there and grabs, and the inning is over. On your Kobe's Sports Arena Swap Meet scorecard, Hoyt continues to befuddle the Expos. After 4, it's 8-0 San Diego. This is the Great American Dash for Cash inning. If a Padre player steals a base, KCST will open a $100 savings account for Randy Windice of San Diego at Great American First Savings Bank. To participate, just drop by a Great American branch near you. Spelling on the last name is W-I-N-D-E-I-S. Andy McGaffigan is the new pitcher, and Jim Wolford is going to go into left field. So I don't know if they're just going to give Raines a rest. Could be. Timmy hasn't missed any action so far this year. And McGaffigan will come in to pitch, and Jim Wolford takes over in left field. Here's Jimmy Wolford. McGaffigan is 3-1, 4.01 the ERA. He's appearing in his 12th game. Greg Nettles starts it off. The Padres are sitting high in the cotton right now. They're leading 8-0. They've just about scored at every opportunity. Meanwhile, Hoyt has left 7 Expos on base through 4 innings. Nettles has walked and reached on an error. 1 strike. McGaffigan out of West Palm Beach, Florida, now makes his home in Lakeland. He's a 29-year-old right-hander. Came over in a trade this past winter from the Reds. Changeup hit slowly towards Wallach. Tim, good play moving to his left, and there's 1 out here in the 5th. Here's Carmelo Martinez, flied to right and then had an infield single. Jerry, sometimes it's kind of funny how things work out, because back in the 2nd inning, runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Carmelo failed to advance the runners by hitting the ball on the ground to the right side. Had he gotten them to 2nd and 3rd, the Expos probably would have walked Kennedy to pitch to Royster. Instead, they pitched to Kennedy because the runners were right there at 1st and 2nd, and Terry promptly went deep. So sometimes, even when you don't execute, things happen on the good side for you.
Well, for the Padres, it came out just right. No question about it. Everything was just hunky-dory. With the home run over the center field wall by Kennedy, they got things rolling in a hurry.
Assuming the Padres are not going to cough up this lead, that's going to give Terry Kennedy 6 game-winning RBIs, and that will put him right amongst the leaders in the National League.
Well, he hit it, and I mean, he hit it a long, long way.
Tapper up the middle, gets through for a base hit. So Carmelo found the right zone right up the middle of the diamond. National League leaders with game-winning RBIs are Hubie Brooks, Mike Marshall, and Darryl Strawberry with 7, and this would be 6 for Kennedy. Carmelo 2 for 3 tonight. Here is Kennedy, who had the long home run to center field in the 2nd. He struck out in the 3rd. Jerry Royster on deck. One ball. Jerry, another kind of ironic thing. The Expos, since the year 1980, in San Diego are 24-11. But at home here, the Padres last year won 5 of 6. They seem to dominate the Expos up here for whatever reason.
Boy, don't ask me how to explain those things, but I do know one thing. The Padres now have 51 home runs on the year. They're 3 behind the Montreal Expos, who lead the National League. And the other club coming in there is the Chicago Cubs with 41. Everybody down in the 30s.
Law, this could be 2 to Newman for 1, back to first, and it's turned over. 4-6-3. And even though the Padres didn't steal a base this inning, Randy Windice of San Diego, you've got 2 tickets for an upcoming Padres game just for playing Great America's Dash for Cash. To enter, just go to the nearest Great American branch and sign up. No purchase necessary. On your Kobe Sports Arena swap meet scorecard, the middle of 5, the Padres are up by 8.
Well, the McDonald's Junior Padre Club members, you got a special ticket for the June 6th game when the Padres take on the Atlanta Braves. It's a 7:05 p.m. start. All McDonald's Junior Padre members are encouraged to attend. We hope you can join us. Why don't you plan on being at the stadium for all the fun and excitement? It's June the 6th for another great McDonald's Junior Padres Day. And don't forget, the Atlanta Braves right now are just a nip and a tuck ahead of the San Diego Padres. The Braves started the day in 2nd place, tied with the Giants, and then the Padres a game behind them. So it looks like a dogfight all the way.
Mitch Webster starts it off for the Expos. 1 strike to count. Curve Whip foul. Maybe Lamar can have a 1-2-3 inning and make it easy on himself here. The Expos have left 7 in the first 4, and Hoyt's kept them off the board. Might be an Eddie Lopat game. We were talking to Ed, your good buddy from the Yankee days. I said, what was the best moment in your career? He said, I don't know if it was the best, but he said the most humorous. Webster fouls it off. Most humorous is when I pitched an 11-hit shutout.
Yep.
Dazzled him.
Well, Lamar pitched to 5 hitters in the first, second, and third innings, leaving 2-1 in each inning, and then 4 in the fourth, leaving 1 man on.
Quinn's going to have this one in his sights for 1 out. So Lamar gets the leadoff hitter. That's something the last 3 innings he hasn't done. So he's made trouble for himself by allowing the lead man to get out in the second, third, and the fourth. Here's Andre Dawson. Just wonder how long Rogers might stay with Andre tonight in this 8-0 game. Sometimes you just kind of chalk one up and say, hey, we're going to rest some of the troops and get ready for a game a little later on.
Get ready for Indianapolis tomorrow.
That's right. They got to play Indianapolis. They're Triple-A team tomorrow.
Oh, God. They flew back from San Diego or Los Angeles, San Francisco, I guess, to Montreal for 3 games, on to Indianapolis and Houston, and back here again.
Dawson rips one up the alley. This is going to be extra bases. So Hoyt gives up his 5th hit, and he's walked 3, and yet the Expos still aren't on the board.
It's a breaking ball. And whammo.
Tim Wallach has singled the left and popped the short. Wallach, 7th in the league in RBIs. Boy, the Expos have several players dotted in offensive categories, top 10. Bouncer to Nettles. Gregg gigs it a little, but in time to throw him out, and 2 down. Padres have Gwynn in several top 10 categories. Garvey, 3rd in home runs. McReynolds is up there in home runs and slugging percentage, and also runs scored. So Kevin been on a tear of late, raised his average over 50 points in the last couple of weeks. Andres Galarraga, 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 9 in the series. One and out. Well, we get a note, and it's absolutely correct. With Raines going out of the game after 3 at-bats, this is the first time in a game he has not reached base at least once. Galarraga, I believe, went in agreement from Terry Tatum. 1-1.
Okay, I'll let you judge it at home. What do you think? A little late getting around, but he got around.
Dabi Sabo Dabi Wabit. It's language we used to have for yes he did. Sidearm slider. 2-1. Did you translate?
Well, my earphones are so garbled, I don't know what you said. What did you say?
Oh, never mind.
I mean, it's like I'm in the middle of a tin can going outward.
This is out of play on the right side. 2-2. Nice play. Andres Galarraga. Boy, the Expos really like this young player. Well, let's see what Lamar serves him up. 2-2. Sidearm, breaking ball. Adios, Andres. On your Kobe Sports Arena swap meet scorecard, the end of 5. 8-0 Padres.
This game is being brought to you in part by Bud Light, the light beer with a fine first name in taste. Everything else is just a light.
Well, the captain of the Canadians, Bob Gainey, on your left. Larry Robinson, the great defenseman, on your right. And that's the treasured Stanley Cup, symbolic of hockey supremacy.
David, the Montreal Canadiens have won that cup 23 times, more than any other team in professional sports that won a world championship.
The Yankees of hockey.
Yep. In Canada, they say the Canadians of the Yankees or something like that.
Yeah, you bet. Never has so much blood been spilled for so little silver.
What's going to happen when they run out of space?
Good question.
You know, I'm not so sure they don't put layers on that thing. I wonder if they do that.
Well, that is the final celebration of the evening of the Stanley Cup as the Expos honor their fellow townsmates, the Montreal Canadiens. Here is Jerry Royster to lead off. Padres are in command 8-0 in the 6th inning. You know, it's almost been a test of wills tonight, Jerry. The Montreal club keeps coming at Lamar Hoyt, and it just seems as Lamar's saying, hey, we've been blowing leads left and right. You're not going to get anything off me.
He's done quite a job, and he's had men on every base. He's left 8 men on through 5 innings.
That was a changeup from McGaffigan. Jerry Royster tonight is 0 for 2. McGaffigan learned that changeup from Mario Soto, and it's made him a much better pitcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jerry. McGaffigan, one of those guys who had the fastball and slider, but never quite enough to become a good pitcher in the big leagues, and the change has really helped him. Royster stays alive. Hoyt on deck, and then Flannery. Fitzgerald wants it away. You can see the location he sets up, and McGaffigan threw a high fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Padre RBIs, 3 for Kennedy, 2 for McReynolds, 2 for Garvey, and 1 for Martinez. Terry has the game's homer, a 3-run shot to get the Padres out in front in the 2nd inning. And Royster will walk away. Good spot down and away by McGaffigan. Lamar is struck out and tapped to the pitcher. I think all Lamar wants to do is just get his hacks and go sit down and rest. Broken bat. Galarraga's got it, and Hoyt will stop about halfway down to first and say, Shatter City. That might not even make good firewood. Sure, Hoyt's going to take some static about that. I saw some smiles building. Look at Harry Dunlop. Hoyt will take some grief over that one. Brian Perlman, the equipment manager. 0-1 to Timmy, who just told himself, bad ball. This one's going to be foul also, and it's 0-2 to Timmy. That was the change. We saw the bottom drop out of that. 1-2. Flannery has walked, lined out, and singled to center. 1 for 2 officially. We had a change that was just announced. Herm Winningham went to center field, and Mitch Webster moves to right. So we said, wonder how long before Dawson got out of there. And Buck Rogers answered the question in the top of the 6th inning. So Winningham will hit in Dawson's spot. And Timmy just nicks it foul to stay alive. And I'm sure Dawson and Raines will get an at bat in Indianapolis tomorrow, but in essence, they won't play tomorrow either. 3-2 to Tim. They'll get their at bat to keep the people in Indianapolis happy, and then they'll shower and get ready for the flight to Houston, where the Expos open a series against the Astros. 3-2 to Flannery. Padres ahead 8-0 in the 6th inning. And it's bounced out to Vance Law, and the Padres down in order. On your Kobe's Sports Arena Swap Meet scorecard, it's the middle of 6, and the score is 8-0 San Diego. Padres ahead 8-0. Vance Law to lead off against Lamar Hoyt. And he pops him up first pitch, and Garvey says he's going to take it. And Steve puts it away for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Lamar here in the 6th. Here's Al Newman, the shortstop. He's walked twice tonight. Good curveball from Hoyt. 0-1. Newman's out of Ontario, California. 5'8", 175-pounder. Switch hitter. 25 years old as Hoyt's ahead 1-2. That one might have nailed Lamar in the foot, and it's going to be a fair ball, and that'll be a base hit for Newman. Only way it wouldn't be a fair ball is if it hit the mound and not Lamar's foot, but the ball hit him in the leg.
Well, he takes it right on one of the legs. Let's check it out. It looks like, oh my, right on the left foot. Ooh.
You know, Jerry, the rule states that if the ball does hit the mound and then bounces into foul territory without hitting the pitcher, that would be a foul ball. Have you ever seen it happen?
You know, I don't think so. I really don't recall that having happened. You know, the way they keep the mounds now, it's almost impossible. They keep them pretty firm and hard. In the old days, every now and then you get a hole out there. It was about 2 or 3 inches deep, and that could happen in the later stages of the game. But if that happens now, they'll patch it right up and put clay in there.
One strike to Fitzgerald. Mike has bounced to short, bounced to second. Well, Newman ran when the Expos were behind 6-0. Let's see if he does at 8-0. And Hoyt's dropping the hooks on Mike Fitzgerald. It's 0-2. Jason Thompson has come out of the dugout. He will be the hitter for McGaffigan. Hung that curveball inside and fouled off on the left. If you're going to sidearm, you don't want to throw it inside, because the idea of sidearm is to try to get the hitter bailing a little bit, and you throw it right into his wheelhouse. Garvey holding against Newman. This could be some trouble. Flannery, great play, but he'll never get it.
Well, the ball's right up the middle, and this is almost impossible for anybody to make a play on this. Timmy gets to it, but doesn't have enough juice on the throw, although it's accurate. A little bit late.
Jason Thompson comes on to pinch hit for McGaffigan. So once again, the Expos have got runners out there. Hoyt stranded 8 through 5 innings. If we can get out of this one without scoring, it's going to be 10. You are watching Padres baseball on 39 Alive. Thompson's hitting .200. Jason, as a pinch batter, 1 for 9. Thompson with the Pirates last year. Came over in a trade this spring. 1-0. Pops him up. Infield fly rule call as Jerry Royster's got it for out number 2. Jerry, the fact that Andres Galarraga had a rotten spring after the Expos said, hey, this guy's going to be our first baseman. He only got 4 hits in the spring, so towards the end of the spring, they got a little itchy about it, so they went out and got Jason Thompson, who's got a big contract, and then Galarraga blossomed.
Well, Galarraga is doing okay, I think. I don't think he's really tearing the world apart. He is 1 for 10 in the series, but anytime you get a young hitter that gets off to a good start, things can change after the first month. I think they're still going to look at Thompson and maybe spell Galarraga against certain pitching.
Jimmy Wolford bats for the first time. He's hitting a Tim Raines spot. Right-hander Jeff Parrott, seen quite a bit of him in this series, is up throwing again. Wolford pops it up, so Hoyt's going to strand 2 more. Flannery squeezes, and Lamar is stranded 10 Expo runners. On your Kobe's Sports Arena Swap Meet scorecard, it's the end of 6. 8-0 San Diego.
One of the great promotions of the baseball season will be returning to San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium on Saturday night on June the 7th. It'll be Pepsi-Cola Sports Bag Night as the Padres take on the Atlanta Braves, who are tough this year. They have come on strong. All fans on hand will receive one of this year's newly designed Padres sports bags absolutely free. Compliments of the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of San Diego. Perfect for the beach, the ballpark, and most of all, it's perfect because it's free. Pepsi-Cola Sports Bag Night, Saturday, June the 7th. Why don't you make your ticket plans early and head on down tomorrow.
Changes for the Expos. Jason Thompson stays in the ball game. He plays first base. And Jeff Parrott, who we saw in the opener of the series, young right-hander, comes on to pitch. He's making his 10th appearance of the year. He's 0-1, 3.77. If you watched Monday, you heard Jerry explain that Parrott is a young man not unlike Bip Roberts. He was drafted off a Class A team, and they have to keep him up in the big leagues. He actually came off a AAA roster, but he played A-ball the year before. And the Expos have to use him or lose him. If they send him back to the minors, he can be returned to the Oriole organization. Tony Gwynn leads off. 7th inning, the Padres ahead 8-0. And a tapper to second, where Law will throw him out. McReynolds is 1 for 2, a 2 RBI double, and one of the strangest balls I've ever seen in my life. He had a low line drive to left. Dan Billardello is also in the game catching, so another change. One of the stranger balls I've ever seen hit. It looked like it was going to be a sinking liner that Raines might be able to shoestring, and McReynolds hit a knuckleball. It appeared to hit some kind of an airstream and just flew over Raines's head by about 10 feet. 2-0 to Kevin McReynolds. Pitcher is probably batting in the 8th spot in the order. McReynolds fouls it off. That would mean Billardello would be hitting 5th. Only 2 we haven't seen off the Expo roster of the regular players. McReynolds takes outside are Wayne Krenchicki and Hubie Brooks. Brooks will not play with a swollen hand. Krenchicki will probably pinch hit before the night's over. McReynolds drills one to right. Webster is still going back and reaches up and grabs it. 2 up, 2 down. Garvey has a couple of hits, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs tonight. So Steve, after a frustrating weekend against the Mets, has had some mighty big hits in this series. Hit a home run on Monday night. Hit a big 3-run shot in the first inning yesterday, but the Padres couldn't hold the lead, and he's driven in a couple of big runs today. Kennedy got him on the board with a 3-run homer in the second, but Garvey started putting the nail in the coffin with a 2 RBI single in the third. Breaking ball from Parrott. 1-1. Okay, it looks like the youngster's starting to pitch with a little more confidence now, probably over the rookie jitters.
Well, he had a tough time in the early going the other night, but he's doing fine right now.
Pounded a fastball past Garvey.
Probably just tired enough so he's not as nervous as he was that first night. The first inning, he really had a struggle.
Garvey gets into the hit column for the third time tonight. Fought off a fastball inside. And Steve, 3 for 4. Has 6 hits in the series. Now, last night on a otherwise very dismal Padre evening, if you had to find a bright spot besides Garvey, Walter coming in the bases loaded and striking out Tim Raines had to be a confidence booster.
And under extreme pressure, tie game at the time. Did a job, boy.
Nettles just missed. Here comes Webster on. He'll take care of this one. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Padres still up 8-0.
Did you catch some of your favorite NBC shows beginning tonight at 8 with Highway to Heaven, followed by a special 2-hour Black's Magic at 9, right here on 39 Alive, Cable 7.
Padres make some changes as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Carmelo Martinez moves into first base. There's Carmelo. Drive to the new center fielder, maybe Marvell Wynn, but Jerry Royster steps in front. So Wynn goes into center field, and Kevin McReynolds moves to left field. One out in the 7th. Padres ahead 8-0. Here's Herm Winningham, who is hitting in Andre Dawson's spot. He took over a while back. 1 strike to Herman. Lamar has not been able to engineer a 1-2-3 inning all night, but he's stranded 10 Expos. Two balls and a strike to Winningham. Chopper to Martinez. Hoyt's going to have to get there to cover, and just in time. Nice footwork by Lamar to get Winningham. Score that one 3-1.
Well, Carmelo makes a nice throw as Lamar covers, and routine play 3-1.
Well, you can just tell how comfortable Carmelo feels at first base. That is his natural position, but he has to play left field because the Padres have Garvey at first.
Well, will this be the inning?
The 1-2-3? I don't care if he does it or not, as long as he keeps throwing zeros up there. Just makes it easier on himself without it. I think he's got a chance. Lamar says nothing to it, folks. We go to the 8th. 8-0 San Diego. Says the Padres don't have a doubleheader at home this year. On June 8th, Padres are going to play the Braves at 1 o'clock, but before that, there's going to be a special exhibition game starting at 11:30. It's Equitable Old Timers Day, as some of the Padres of the past play many of baseball's greatest heroes. Make your plans now for Equitable Old Timers Day, June the 8th. We'll start telling you some of those names as we go along during the week, but some of those old timers are going to be there. That is Sunday, June 8th, 1 week from this Sunday, and it begins at 11:30. Hope you're planning on coming out. We go to the 8th inning, and Jerry's back with a play-by-play.
Okay, Dave, and Jeff Parrott, the 4th pitcher for the Expos, is out there. He'll be going up against Carmelo Martinez to start it off. Martinez, who went from left field to first base, comes in. He'll be followed by Terry Kennedy and then Jerry Royster. The Padres got off and running in the 2nd on a 3-run homer by Kennedy with a couple of men on. And then they got 3 more in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th inning. 8-0 San Diego. Strike right in there. Martinez so far has flied to right and singled twice. 2 for 3. Padres, if they can grab this one, they've got a good leg up on it. Will end up with a record of 24-21. 2 strikes to Carmelo. That'll put him 3 over 500 and 2 out of 3 here in Montreal as they head for Philadelphia. High, 1 ball, 2 strikes. On Friday night, Eric Schau will face Kevin Gross. Schau 3-2, Gross 3-5. That game will be coming your way right here on Channel 39, starting at 4:30 in the afternoon. There's the 3rd base hit of the night for Carmelo, a looping single to left, and the 2nd hit off Jeff Parrott. So Carmelo gets things going here in the 8th inning with a single to left, nobody out. That'll bring on Terry Kennedy. Kennedy, the big blow in this game, his 4th home run of the year in the 2nd inning to give the Padres a 3-0 shot. Terry homered, then struck out, bounced into a double play. But the big blow, the curveball by Floyd Yeoman, went over that center field wall like a little old pea. That really went. Strike one. Outfield swung out to the right side. Padres 8 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. The Expos no runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. Lamar Hoyt has left 10 men on base. And only in the 7th inning did he get the side in order, 1, 2, 3. Strike 2. Give us some scores while we go along. We'll check the National League first for you. A couple of finals are in and some are on the way. 2-strike pitch. A ball and 2 strikes. Carmelo Martinez at first base, nobody out. Kennedy trying to keep this thing going. Padres on top by 8. Chicago beats Cincinnati 5-0. A shutout by Rick Sutcliffe over Bill Gullickson. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Kennedy caught looking. So we have 1 down. Carmelo holds at first base. Jerry Royster's a batter. Other scores, National League, Houston edged the St. Louis Cardinals 4-3 in 11 innings. Vince Coleman stole 3 bases in that game, and he now leads the league with 22. After 4.5, Pittsburgh 3, Atlanta 2. They're playing that game in Pittsburgh. Bucks batting in the bottom of the 5th. In other games, Dodgers won, the Mets won. Bottom of the 6th at New York. And now the Mets have gone ahead. A 2-run homer by Kevin Mitchell puts them ahead at least 3-1 as Royster fouls one away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carter and Mitchell have homered. The Mets now lead in the 6th inning at least 3-1 over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Royce started and good. And another run comes in here in the 6th inning, and the Mets are now ahead at least 4-1. There's a drive to left field, fairly deep. Going. It is 10-0 San Diego. A home run by Jerry Royster. Boy, the Padres are just running off of this one. This is one of the few laughers they've had all year. 2-run homer by Royster, his first of the year, and San Diego now is on top 10-0. A real onslaught by the Padres. There's Royster. It's always nice to hit the home run. Here's Jeff Parrott. Curveball too, and Royster was right on top of it, stayed with it, and ropped it over the left field wall. So the Mets now lead the Dodgers 3-1. Dodgers are not having a good trip. Make that 4-1. They got 3 runs in the 6th inning. The Mets now lead 4-1 over Los Angeles through 6. Here's Lamar Hoyt, strike 1. Other scores: San Francisco trailing Philadelphia 4-0 in the 6th inning. Raleigh against Garrelts, Beringer, and Lasky. Strike. No balls, 2 strikes. The American League, 1 final is in. Baltimore beat Oakland 9-5. Cleveland ahead of the red-hot Red Sox 2-0 in the 5th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chicago at Texas scoreless in the 3rd. Milwaukee leads Kansas City 1-0 in the 3rd. Toronto 1, Minnesota 1. That's in the 3rd inning. Detroit at California, New York at Seattle later starts. And right here, the Padres 10-0 San Diego. Boy, they're on a roll. And it is strike 3. That's all for Lamar Hoyt, who goes down. Second strikeout for Jeff Parrott in this inning, but in between he gave up the 2-run homer to Jerry Royster. Tim Flannery steps in. Walk, line to short, single to center, bounce to second. 1 for 3. Timmy batting at .278. Fastball outside. So the Padres can look forward to a welcome trip to Philadelphia on a high note. They won the first one 9-6. They lost last night in one of those games that they always feel like they could have won but didn't, 5-4. And then tonight they're all over the Expos 10-0. This one hit the left field. Waiting for it is the left fielder, Jim Wolford. He grabs it. And that's all for San Diego. But 2 more runs go on the board on 2 base hits. The big one, the home run by Jerry Royster. After 7.5, we go to the last of the 8th inning. San Diego 10, Montreal nothing. All right, coming on right now, first hitter, Dan Billardello going after Lamar Hoyt. Billardello is in the ball game. Coming on and taking over for Mike Fitzgerald. Next pitch by Billardello is fouled away for strike 2. So Billardello here in the bottom of the 8th inning up there. Padres running away with this one 10-0. This may be the most lopsided score the Padres have had all year. Boy, they are just walking away with it. Sidearm fastball misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Got another pitching record in the American League. Tell you about that in just a minute. There's a ground ball, third base side. Nettles can't get it. That'll go for extra bases down the line. Billardello around first, heading for second, has himself a double. Joe Cowley, the guy that was traded by the Yankees to the Chicago White Sox, tied an American League record by striking out the first 6 batters that he faced. 4th time in American League history that a pitcher has started a game with 6 straight strikeouts. That's 2 innings, nothing happens. So Joe Cowley did it for the Chicago White Sox. Here's Vance Law stepping in. Singled, bounced to short, popped to first. Runner at second. Lamar still with a shutout. Tosses a curveball up there. And Lamar Hoyt has left 2 men on in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings. 1 in the 4th and 5th, and 2 in the 6th. He went through the side in order in the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Padres 10 runs, 11 hits. The Expos no runs and 8 hits. In the air. Flannery, Royster. Royster says, I will do it, and he does. 1 away. So Law's gone, and now Al Newman steps in. Newman walked twice and singled. He hit a pitch that went right off the toe of Lamar Hoyt and into foul territory for a base hit. That was in the 6th inning. So he's 1 for 1, 1 for 2 in the series. Well, Lamar's given up 8 hits and no runs so far. He may be heading toward Eddie Lopat's record of an 11-hit shutout. I don't know if it's a record, but it's a lot of hits for coming up with a shutout. Curve is inside, ball 1.
Of all the Expo hitters tonight, Newman's the guy that seemed to have been on him all night. A couple of walks and a hit.
Wayne Krenchicki in the on-deck circle. He'll be batting for Jeff Parrott. There you see him. 1 down, runner at second. 2-0 the count. And Newman takes off. There's always one guy in the lineup you can't get rid of, and this is the guy apparently for Lamar. He's walked him twice already, and he got a base hit. He's about to walk him for the 3rd time. He's going 3-0. And he does. That's a 4th walk given up by Lamar, and 3 of them to Al Newman, a little guy. At second base, Billardello. Newman at first. Wayne Krenchicki coming on to bat for the pitcher. And that means that there's only 1 man on the bench for the Expos, and his name is Brooks, and he may not be used unless there's an emergency of some sort. I can't think what that might be. 10-0 San Diego. Krenchicki stepping in. Curve is in there for a strike.
Well, I got to give you credit. The old pro, you got one that you had me fooled the last 2 nights. You kept telling me that Huey Brooks was not swinging normally. He was striking out, not looking good. And I said, he's just in a slump. Nah, he had a bad hand.
Yep. Well, you know, every now and then, about once every 17 years, I get it right. Krenchicki, 167 as a hitter, and as a pinch hitter, 4 for 14. Does much better as a pinch hitter than when he plays. Here's a 2-0 pitch. And another pop-up. Carmelo. And the infield fly rule called a little bit late. It has to be a fair ball to be an infield fly. So let's see if Lamar can do it again and leave 2 more on. That'll be 12. He's given up 8 hits. He's got 2 men out there with 2 down. The batter coming on is Jason Thompson, who stayed in the ballgame after popping up to second in the 6th inning. Nothing San Diego. Nice play by Terry. 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ooh, I don't think it's deep enough. And Lamar does it again. He strands 2 more in the bottom of the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. San Diego 10, Montreal nothing. Well, I know I've seen this happen before, and I just can't remember when. We got a guy by the name of Vance Law, an infielder, on the mound because the Expos are out of pitchers. He's the son of the great right-hander Vern Law, former Cy Young Award winner, and Wayne Krentchicki stays in the ballgame at second base. Now, you know what's going to happen to all the Padre hitters? They're going to be drooling at the mouth. They'll probably all pop up. So Vance Law now is coming on. He'll be facing Gwynn, McReynolds, and Marvell Wynn. I don't think he's pitched this year or this week. You're watching Padres baseball on 39 Alive. Gwynn takes outside for a ball. So Vance Law. 10-0 San Diego, 9th inning, of course, in a spot like this. Let's see what the infielder does. Got it in there. It's going to be embarrassing if you don't get a hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike. You know he doesn't want to throw it over. On the ground, and it gets Tony Gwynn. And the old third baseman handles it, Wayne Krentchicki. Play goes 4-3. Sometimes these things are kind of interesting because this is something you rarely if ever see. And now this has nothing to do with a 24-man roster. This has to do with they don't have any pitchers out there that are ready and fresh.
Jerry, in 1977, when I managed in the Texas League, I managed against Bob Rogers' El Paso club, and I had to pitch one night. I had to activate myself. I was completely out of pitchers, and so I warmed up. I'd been throwing batting practice all year. We were down about 14-1 or something, and just as I completed my warm-up tosses, Rogers said, "Remember, Dave, you don't have a screen in front of you." And I hadn't thought about it, a screen to protect you in BP. And about the first 5 pitches I threw in the ground because I was so busy ducking.
Yeah, look at this. You know what's going to happen tomorrow in the morning paper. If it gets to the side in order, they're going to say they had the wrong man out there all night long.
Oh, of course.
Here's Marvell Wynn coming on for his first lick.
But I'll tell you, this series, we thought we had seen a dandy over the weekend against the Mets, and it was. But this one, while the Mets and Padres was intense, this one has just had silly happenings all 3 games.
Don't ask me to read back my scorebook. It is absolutely a disaster. It looks like a Chinese puzzle.
Fire drill.
Here's Marvell Wynn. I don't know. Whatever he's doing, they may bring him back tomorrow as a starter. Marvell batting at .294.
Bet he calls his dad tonight and say, "Guess what, Dad? You're not the only great pitcher in the family."
Outside, a little change up there. 2 balls away. He's really getting with it now. I'm trying to see if he's ever pitched before. I don't see it in his record.
Showed the repertoire. Curveball, fastball, change.
I'll be darned. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Nobody even hit the ball hard. So the Padres get down 1-2-3 in the 9th inning. We go to the last half, and the Padres lead the Expos 10-0.
Sunday night at 6 o'clock, a mayoral debate with candidates Maureen O'Connor and Bill Cleater. Don't miss this important forum, a mayoral debate Saturday or Sunday night. Make that Sunday night at 6 here on 39 Alive.
Last half of the 9th inning, Jim Wolford comes on, up for the 2nd time, popped to short in the 6th inning, and Lamar Hoyt going for a complete game shutout. It'd be his first shutout and his first complete game. Strike one right in there. Outside, 1-1. Lamar has left 12 men on base. The only inning that he didn't leave a man on was in the 7th. 1-1 pitch. Ball and 2 strikes. Lamar really, when he has had to be tough, has been outstanding. 21,342 have kind of separated themselves from the ballpark after the Padres got all the runs in the 3rd, 4th, and then in the 8th inning to make it 10-0 San Diego.
Well, there's something for everybody, though, Jerry. The fans that came out tonight got to celebrate one more time the Montreal Canadiens victory, and then those who stayed had fun watching Vance Law pitching the 9th inning and retiring the Padres on 3 infield tappers.
The 1-2 pitch in the air, right center field. Marvell win, and I think Tony said, "Go for it, Marvell. I've had enough out here," and he did. Gwynn could have caught it, but I know he wanted Marvell to put the ball away. 1 away, 9th inning. That'll bring on Mitch Webster. Gwynn's got a sore leg. We've been telling you about that all through this series, and I think he'll be looking for that off day, and maybe he's got on tennis shoes right now. He does not have on any spikes.
Jay, I'm sure Steve Boris asked him a couple of times if he wanted to come out, and Gwynn just said, "Nope, I'm okay."
Little did he know that an infielder would nail him on a ground ball to second. 2 balls, no strikes to Webster. Webster's doubled in the 3rd, fly to left, to right, popped to second, 1 for 4. And there's another fly ball, and the Padres are 1 out away from wrapping up this shutout. And Lamar Hoyt 1 out away from his first complete game of the year, and that is good news for the San Diego Padres. This guy is the one they've counted on to lead the staff.
Well, Jerry, unless some team really makes a magnificent break in the Western Division, it really does look like it's going to be a division race that's going to go into September with no clear-cut favorite even at that point. So Padres are going to need all their horses, and I think it's going to be a very exciting summer. Boy, they break your hearts one night, and then they throw the dickens out of you the next night.
Yeah, and look at the poor broadcasters. They're going nuts anyway.
You're getting grayer.
Beg your pardon?
I said you're getting grayer.
I am? Impossible. My hair is getting tan, not gray.
That's a good point.
Herm Winningham runs the count now of a ball and 2 strikes, and Lamar is 1 out away from wrapping it up. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. And here's the big one. Curve a little high. Going back is Kevin. Way back at the wall, and holy cow, there goes the shutout. How do you like that? Well, he laid it in there, and Herm Winningham hit it the other way over the left field wall. It's a 10-1 ball game. Boy, man, oh man, 1 strike away from a shutout and lost it.
And Winningham doesn't really have that kind of power, let alone to the opposite field, but he did.
Well, Lamar was just laying it in there to get the game over, figuring this isn't the guy that's going to do it, but he did. All right, here's Tim Wallach coming on. It's the 3rd home run for Herm Winningham. Boy, what a shocker that was. 10-1 ball game. That's a 9-hitter so far. And Lamar now is getting mad, goes after Wallach and misses ball 1. Wallach in the game singled, popped to short, bounced to 3rd, and popped to 1st. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, Lamar is ticked off. You can tell. He strands 12. He's got the shutout registered in his own mind.
This one to right center field. Another long drive. Way back. And it is off the wall. Missing by about 3 feet. So Wallach is going to get the 3rd. A home run and a triple with 2 down here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Right now, the Padres have 10 runs and 11 hits. Montreal 1 run and 10 hits. Both teams have made an error. Steve Boris is going to come out and have a chat with his right-hander, who would love to finish the ball game. Looks as though we got Lance McCullers throwing in the Padre bullpen in the event they need him. There'll be no save in this game. So Lamar just trying to finish it, and I'm sure, whoops, that's it. I thought he might ask him, how do you feel? I'll give you 1 more hitter, but that's all. So a home run and a triple gets Lamar out of there after he goes 8 2/3 innings. And while we're waiting for Lance McCullers to come on, we're going to have a little timeout for this commercial message. Dan Billardell is going to come on against Lance McCullers, and he's got a pretty good hard one. I'm sure the Billardeller was counting more on going after Lamar Hoyt, who he doubled off in the 8th inning, but now he's got Lance McCullers coming in. McCullers with a record of 1-1, ERA of 1.13, appearing in game number 22. He's got 1 save. Young right-hander will face Dan Billardello, and then the pitcher, Vance Law.
Good point.
Well, let's see. The Padres have used Marvell Wynn. They've got 5 men left: Wassinger, Bochy, Borge, Templeton, and Kruk. Montreal, including Schatzsider, a pitcher, as a pinch hitter, have only 1 man left, Hubie Brooks, and they don't want to use him unless it's for some extreme emergency, and I can't imagine what that would be. 10-1 San Diego. Runner at third base, 2 down. Billardello takes inside for ball 1. And this one was low. 2 balls and no strikes. Padres take tomorrow off, and on Friday at 4:30 we'll be on the air right here at Channel 39 as Eric Shaw goes after Kevin Gross in Philadelphia. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Pitchers of record, the 2 starters, Floyd Yeomans for Montreal. He'll end up with a record of 4-4, and Lamar Hoyt will be 2-1.